Mortgage One. Well, let's try to turn it on.
Yeah.
Huh. Mortgage One Studio, Russ Clark with you. Greg Wilkinson's here. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm doing
You
great.
survived the Kentucky Derby, I see.
We did.
Well,
Did you survive?
I did. Well, I was at your house, so
Yeah, I
I mean, thanks for that. That was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Even had the mayor over, so I could, yell at him about stuff. So I gave him this. Oh no,
he's always there to talk to and discuss things.
He doesn't mind.
No.
He in fact, he wants to stay ahead of the problems.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. He showed me a lot of AI stuff. He's in the middle of a campaign now. Yeah. He's running against write-in now.
Yeah,
a write-in in a general. I mean, that's just like really tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
A one-on-one write-in against a general in the general.
Right.
When one's on the ballot and one's a write-in.
Yeah.
And I think Doug's popularity is good now.
I do too. Yeah, he's done a good job. He's been in there
for a
long
job.
Time.
I like it. He answers, he returns calls, he talks to you. Yeah. And he cares about the community, man. He's all community. But this opponent and others are doing a lot of AI type graphics and stuff showing him, just less than, cartoonish and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's going to get more and more out of hand.
Well,
I mean, it's fair. It's fine,
Yeah. Well, I think there's something about that, and I've seen a lot of it that's kind of psychopathic.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and almost all of it's misinformation, not true.
It is, yeah, and that's what I've noticed about him and actually one other candidate for council that they don't know what they're talking about. They're making stuff up.
I asked him about that too. I said, "Look, this stuff's libel. Why don't you sue?" And he said, "Russ, he's a public figure, which makes it tougher. It doesn't make it impossible. I mean, obviously Trump does that, but it would cost me more money and time, and bring attention to an already, terrible. So I guess it hasn't reached a point where he's going to do like a Trump and sue him, for the libel and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and we've had, the last, it started 7 years ago. That's when I think it really started getting bad. And, I had warned city council about these lying psychopaths is what I call them.
Okay.
And,
but at least they're consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. They hardly ever tell the truth, but, and that's what we're dealing with now. And a handful of people, and it's a handful of people, go out there, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but posts online and Facebook and that kind of stuff.
Oh, they make up Facebook pages, like they're a news reporter or something.
Yep. I would say less than 50% of what's on Facebook is true. And, these guys that are going out there, and of course, most of the time they don't even use their real name.
No.
They're cowards,
right?
And, and they post this stuff, and make all these things up about, and mayor, but there's other people. And then, I mean, you have this one that's Harry. Now they're just posting facts. They're just posting straight facts.
I don't know them.
Harry, it's Yuma or something like that. They're just posting public records and stuff. But then there's these other ones that make up, evil looking
artificial intelligence and stuff with the memes and all that.
Yeah.
And they come to conclusions that are just slanderous and terrible.
Oh yeah, they're outrageous.
The one about our mayor has a private business. He runs core engineering. He's an engineering firm.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of contracts, private contracts, government contracts, all kinds of stuff, for engineering work.
Right.
And automatically, there's going to be some on the negative side saying, well, he's getting favorable treatment, which is not true. In fact, you would be aware of that because you were
and in fact, there was all those claims that were happening, and they were trying to get different law enforcement agencies. And what I did was I pulled all those records. And what I found out that when Mayor Nichols got elected, he actually lost half of his business. It cost him 50% of his business with the city. So his business went down. And the other thing is that it is not uncommon for someone, a businessman, to run for mayor in Yuma and they actually lose their business. Their business goes under. It's happened several times. I can name, there's 3 off the top of my head. I'm not going to throw names out there. 3 off the top of my head. They lost their businesses. They went under because, somebody started, slandering him or this or that, or, oh, we're going to boycott him because he's a politician and obviously he's crooked.
Yeah. Yes. Otherwise they wouldn't call him a politician.
Right. Yeah.
But I know anytime that he has to bid, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if he has to bid on if he bids on something that has to go through council, he leaves the room. He recuses himself.
Yes.
And that's always the case. And I mentioned that and people say, well, he still is the mayor and they're afraid to vote against it. I mean,
no,
you don't know Doug.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
No. Yeah.
In fact, some would relish voting against him.
Yeah. But, and I think, and when he was getting ready to run the first time, he came up and talked to me like many of the candidates. When I was city manager, he'd come up and talk to me and talk about how this would go and how to do this and that. And a lot of the council candidates came in and talked to me and mayor candidates and stuff before they ran. And that's how we talked. We talked about recusing yourself. And I believe he even recuses himself on the CIP. So he has no advantage whatsoever on the CIP. And,
I think his business is solid now, though. He may have had some adjustments, but I don't think he's hurting at all.
Yeah, no, he's his business is a typical small business like many here in Yuma. And, at least I wanted every small business to be successful.
Sure.
And that's what we tried, what I tried to do. And I think what council tries to do.
I got to do a disclaimer, which I forgot. Because it's nothing recorded.
Okay.
In case somebody's listening, they may think we're giving facts. It says, all content presented in the Russ Cark Show, including statements made by guests, commentators, and callers, reflect the personal opinions of those individuals and is provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. These views do not represent the official position of Mortgage One Studios, its owners, employees, affiliates, or partners. Mortgage One Studios does not endorse, verify, or guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements made by third parties during programming. Now I'm safe.
That's unusual.
Actually, we always ran it on AM 560. It was recorded. Nobody noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think people listening knows. We didn't notice it in the studio because we don't really listen to what was going out necessarily. But that's a common sense thing. Edward reminded me of it.
Mm-hmm.
That he helps me a lot. I mean, the information he gives me at times is very helpful. Just not on how the world works, how the politics works, from his viewpoint level, which otherwise I'd have no understanding of, and all that. And he's got so many lawyers and helpers and himself, his own personal experience of working at levels that most people don't see.
Yeah. Well, and the things we say, at least for me, I try to talk about things from an accurate fact standpoint and have it backed up. And if I say something's wrong and somebody's out there correcting me, I like that.
I do too.
Yeah. I like people will call. So we get, correct information out there.
Yeah. And generally when you're talking about something that could be libel or something, you definitely want to have reference material.
Right.
That's why on a lot of these events that happen, like whether it's a shooting or something that's brand new and it just hit, and you see all these news organizations coming out and saying, well, what probably is going on here or something, they come into all this conjecture and stuff, and I just don't like it. I want to see more. I mean, I'll mention like the assassination attempt and that we know nothing.
Yeah.
Other than that, speaking of that assassination attempt, I had some additional there's been additional pictures come out.
Oh, yes. I had seen some of them.
And the picture helped me a lot understand, because early on, you heard a lot of condemnation of the Secret Service, how terrible they were. That they weren't, and of course the president has talked about it as being like they did great, they did great. So I didn't know where the disconnect was, I didn't talk much about it. This picture, I'm showing it to you, I don't, you can see it. That cleared up a lot for me, because there was a lot of condemnation about the first video that came out where this gunman ran right through and seemed to run through unabated, and that there were Secret Service agents leaning up against the wall.
Right.
And a lot of people looked at that picture and said, well, these guys are lazy. They're not doing their jobs or whatever. And now when you get a picture from a different angle, what you see is they're tearing down the station. It's over.
Right.
They're done with that checkpoint.
Yes.
That checkpoint, and it makes sense to me when I saw the picture. When there's an event like going on where the president's going to be in a room, when that event, when the president walks in that room, those doors are locked and no one else is allowed in. So it makes sense that the checkpoint to screen people going in is being taken down because it's closed.
Right.
Well, it shows there's two magnometers. One's on the ground with the police department and people disassembling it to put it back in boxes. And that's what everyone's focused on. Right. This guy runs around the corner because there's no guests coming through at this time.
Yeah, no.
It's closed. He runs around the corner and runs right through the one that's still up, but there's no one manning it.
Yeah.
There's nobody there saying empty your pockets. He just runs right through it. And of course there's a police officer with a firearm out bearing down on him as he's running through.
Yes.
Now the guy's leaning against the wall and their job is done for the day. They were just wrapping it up. There was nobody there. So it was guarded, and I'm sure why this station's being closed down around the room, no one's going to get in that room.
Right. And so he was stopped, and I think people are looking at that. It's like, oh my God, he's going to get into the event. But what they don't understand is that the event is actually one floor down.
Right.
And that he had to get on an escalator where there were Secret Service agents at the top of the escalator that he hadn't gotten to, and there are more Secret Service agents at the bottom of the escalator. So he had not, he basically got through the screening point. Now,
but it was being shut down. It was a screening point that they were closing because they no longer had a need for it, I'm sure.
Right.
Because no more guests were coming through there.
Yeah.
They were done.
Yeah. And I get, I've listened to a lot of the comments about, well, they didn't screen me outside, and but they couldn't. The only way that they could start screening outside is if they shut down the hotel. And at CPAC is a hotel where I go back. I've gone there 10 times. I don't know, a lot, but they never screen going into the hotel. Right. But then there's a section of the hotel that's completely closed off. That nobody goes through. I mean, they have metal doors that lock down and everything. You can only go one way, and it's well covered. Yeah. When the president's there. Now it's a little more open when the president's not there. There's security, but they don't have every walkway closed off that lead to security. Yeah. Yeah. So
when the president's there, you have to walk a maze, upstairs, downstairs, and walk through a lot to get to the security. Yeah. Because all the other pathways are towed, and that's intentional, I would assume.
Yeah. And this is a hotel. Hotels don't normally have screening to stop people from coming in and those types of things. And my understanding is disassembled is that Mossberg shotgun. Of course, the pistol is pretty easy to conceal carry.
And that's how he got it into the building. It was in a bag, I guess, on his train.
Yeah.
He took a train, so it didn't get searched.
Right. So he did his background.
Let's talk to Mike this morning. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Russ. And what's the name of your?
Oh, it's Greg. It's Greg Wilkinson. He was city administrator for 9 years. Yeah.
Greg. I know that.
Yeah.
Greg, this is his name. Greg. Good morning, Greg.
Morning.
Something really disturbing about what is on video about the so-called Secret Service, which is the Keystone Cops.
Okay.
I no longer have any faith in the Secret Service, and they should be defunded.
Oh, well, I disagree with that position, but go ahead.
That's what the show is about. Study that short video, and that man is running through the metal detector, right?
A closed medical. It was not manned. It was an unmanned detector. Yes, he was.
But I'm trying to give perspective.
Yeah.
You see a man running. He's running full speed. I mean, you can see he's running full speed, and he's got a long gun.
Yeah.
You can see that.
Yep.
But he's carrying the gun at port arms, and he's running.
Right.
There's two Secret Service agents that they see him, and instead of tackling him, they get out of his way.
Yeah, I didn't see that part of it, and that's quite possible.
Look again. Yeah. Greg, okay. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, I saw him fall. They didn't see him coming quick enough, and they kind of fell back and pulled their weapons.
Yeah.
My job as Secret Service is to give my life for the president. Yep. That's what you sign up for.
Right.
That's what you give the oath for. You don't get out of the way of danger. Now, I would say if the man was running and he had the long gun pointing forward, but he had it at port arms. He hadn't engaged the weapon yet, and they got out of his way. They physically got out of his way when they should have chose to, when you're playing football and you're talking about the speed and the weight of the player, a lot of it in that moment of collision is just about, the science of geometry. And, they, based on what they are about, Secret Service, these tough guys who work out with weights and pound their chests, and at the bars tell girls I'm Secret Service. They chickened out.
I don't think so, but okay.
Watch it.
I did. I think I saw what you're talking about, but I think it surprised them. That was a shutdown station. They were wrapping it up. I don't think they expected.
They would have stopped him at that point, and it would have been over. The fact that he went forward and was able to then pull the trigger a couple times, that's on those two guys. They should be fired, and they should be. Not only should they be fired, they should be made fun of.
Well,
because they failed their post. They failed their job. They should have stopped that man. They should have tackled him.
I think they should definitely investigate it, and I know they are. They're going to look at the whole thing. The picture I've got is the early picture when he first entered the hallway. It looks like he first entered the hallway, and he's running full speed already as he entered, catches people surprised. There's a police officer right in front of him with his pistol drawn right away.
Well, a police officer, he's a police officer. He's not as great as a Secret Service guy.
I think he is. When I say it says police, but they're Secret Service. They're both.
But do you have the video on your computer there?
No, not right now. I can get it, but there's more than one. There's multiple.
So
but that one, that's the one they keep showing.
So you're saying you want to do away with the Secret Service. So what do you do instead?
What I'm saying is they are not fulfilling their job for this president. They aren't. And this is probably the first time that they have had to work as hard as they have, and it has shown just how weak they are. And I'm going to answer your question, Greg. But the Secret Service, they are doing their job. But who should protect the president? I would guess in this day and age is anybody but them. What I'm saying is, isn't that what they are supposed to show? They're supposed to put their body. They're supposed to put their body between the danger and the person they're protecting.
Absolutely.
Well, inside they did. They didn't get through the they have multiple layers, and they didn't get inside, and the Secret Service agents inside did that.
Yeah, he never made it down that one hallway, let alone get to the escalator and all the other stuff.
But here's the thing: understand this. After the video shot that I'm talking about, he hasn't fired that gun yet. Before that time, at that time, he hasn't fired that gun. After that time, he fired the gun. So if those guys are responsible for him being able to get shots off, they could have stopped it right there. Look at it again, study it, and you look at those guys. They are supposed to be Secret Service. Don Bongino is a Secret Service guy.
Yeah, and I would trust Don Bongino's opinion. I haven't really heard it on this.
Don Bongino is a horse's ass.
Oh.
He said, he was the assistant director of the FBI who quit. He's a quitter,
right?
Is what he is.
Well, he said he was going to only spend a year anyway. That's what he said.
But he keeps talking about. I was a Secret Service under. Barack Obama. Barack Obama never had the intensity of assassin situations that Trump has. Bongino never had to flex his little Secret Service muscles.
I have no idea. But I think it's worth looking at this. But I just sent you the picture I was looking at. It looked like that was early on.
Oh, that was from you? Okay.
Yeah, it looked like it was early on. Like you could see the guys are tearing it apart. That whole station's closed or closing, so they're not checking anybody. And he rushed it real fast. And I guess
that's prior to this moment. That you can say, well, this is another moment. This is another moment where they failed. This is another. But at this moment, with that video that's always on the news, that's the one they show.
Yeah, those
two Secret Service guys turned away.
See, I saw that video obviously, but I didn't know what to make of it. I don't know. I'd like to see the whole picture, but if they did wrong, it needs to be investigated. It needs to be gone. I mean, Trump spoke very negatively about Butler, but he didn't speak negatively about this one. So
how Trump handles the aesthetics of the present time, I can't comment on. But these guys, if you're talking about people in the know, these guys screwed up. These guys are actually cowards. These are like the cops that were at that one high school. They
in Florida.
Remember that high school?
Well, yeah, they wouldn't rush him, and a lot of people.
Yeah, that was different though. They said, well, we're not going to go in. We're not going to rush him, and they
ended up killing kids while they were standing outside.
Yeah, to me, that's different.
That's crazy. Yeah. No. Well, Mike, anyway, we're going to know more, and we haven't seen it all yet, so I'd be curious. I want to. You may be right, but I don't think so.
Well, that's my opinion. You guys have a good day.
You too, man. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
No, he's entitled to that.
Right. Yeah.
But some of the commentators, they were early on in this, making up all this stuff before we got all of it.
Right. Well, and that's, my point was, the Secret Service did stop him.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing.
It needs to not be forgotten.
He never got into the venue.
I got to ask you though, the pictures we see him laying on the ground, he doesn't have a shirt on. What the heck was why?
So I think what they were worried that he might have a bomb or a vest or something else on him, I think. And so they stripped them.
Okay.
So they can't conceal anything that they would have on him. I mean, it could be something pretty small. Like
it's got to be embarrassing to get caught and then you're almost naked laying on the ground.
Well, why not?
Yeah, that should be a deterrent right there.
Exactly. But yeah, that's why, because it's concerned about other things, bombs or could be carrying a bag of nerve agent or something like that. Yeah.
Let's talk to Sandy this morning. Wow, you're up early. Good morning, Sandy.
Yes, good morning. I'm going to agree with what you guys were saying at the very beginning, and I'm basing it on this. Bill O'Reilly was there. He knows that hotel, and early on he described in multiple places the long hallway, the escalator. The guy wasn't anywhere near the room that President Trump was in.
Right.
And Hannity, of course, poo-pawed him because Hannity's on the side of like the nice man just said, oh, they're terrible, they're awful.
Right.
But Bongino supports what O'Reilly says. He was describing it like there's like a strategy to it where he calls it boxes. I like where somebody else called it layers. And so, like, that would just be a layer. And the guy would still have to, as Greg said, go all the way down the hallway. He'd have to get past the Secret Service at the top, at the bottom. There were guys out at the tables that were, I guess, disguised. You know, they would have been dressed up like a guest.
Yeah,
there were guys in front of President Trump, guys behind President Trump. And so you need to also remember, he was talking about, well, they needed to tackle him. Well, they might not have tackled him in 3 seconds, but they got him tackled in, I don't know, 6 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, it went pretty fast.
Yeah.
No, it was not long. So what I decided to do is I go with President Trump. He's the main target, so I heard him say that. And this automatic from all these different people, including Sean, and Sean's not going to change his mind. He wouldn't even let O'Reilly talk. But, yeah, he wouldn't let, because he disagrees with O'Reilly. He agrees with the man who called earlier. And so O'Reilly's trying to tell what I'd heard him tell and describe how the president wasn't in danger. And Sean just, oh, no. And he was just going after O'Reilly. And then O'Reilly, I think, just decided, well, it's his show. I'm not going to worry about it. No, you know, at some point, you know, somebody's just going to bully. You just maybe give up. But
you know, when I first saw it, you know, this guy rushing through a station. You know, we didn't see the whole station. We saw parts of it. I thought, you know, that can't even be possible because, you know, I've been through a lot of them. And these guys are very alert, very on their toes. They're scanning everything. They see everything coming. But this station was closed. These guys had closed it. They were not looking right at that moment. And that's why they got bum rushed.
right.
Yeah, they were not part of the security detail at that point. They were being retired.
Well, irregardless what happened, in a matter of 10 seconds, the guy is tackled.
Yep.
Now, the Secret Service that got shot and shot back at the guy, he didn't end up hitting the guy, but I can't imagine somebody running fast. You've just been shot, you know, and none of the others did either. But
he did
I
not,
guess he was the one who shot.
He did not pull the trigger until after he was already shot in the chest by a shotgun. He pulled the trigger 5 times on his fall to the ground.
Yeah.
So it probably disrupts your accuracy.
Yeah. Well,
I would say yes.
He got a shotgun blast
To the
flushed
chest,
at point blank range, is my understanding. That it was very, very close.
According to this picture, they're about 10 feet apart, and I'm assuming this is the guy right there.
Yeah.
Well, and just the fact that he got the shots off. Another thing you have to be careful of when you're shooting is the surrounding people.
Right.
So you don't end up.
And there's tons of people around. I'm surprised somebody didn't get hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised.
Right.
The Secret Service guy got
I was
shot.
watching an old Western the other day, and I told my husband, I said, you know, I never thought of this before, but all of those guys are shooting on horses really close to each other. There would have had to have been friendly fire, and none of them got it. And it's funny, as a kid, and even like, I don't know, I just wouldn't have even thought of it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But it's not a funny thing in real life. I don't mean that, but it's just how interesting you could, through learning.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with what you guys were saying. I like the layer approach. You can't just have the one guy that jumps in front of the president like we've seen in movies in the past.
Well, or like what happened to
Instead,
Reagan.
you have layers of guys.
Right.
Correct.
Reagan had Secret Service guys jump between him and the bullet, and he took it.
Yeah.
But that's because he was outside. There weren't layers of protection when he was getting in that vehicle.
Exactly.
And I wonder if there may be layers of protection now. I don't know. And maybe it's good that we don't know everything. But I don't want to throw out the Secret Service.
No.
You know, I don't like what happened in Butler.
Yeah.
And they do have more aggressive Democrat promoted violence people, and they are the Democrat Party is a problem.
Oh yeah.
And they are causing this problem. And unfortunately, I agree with you. They do want President Trump to pass away, to be killed. And that's basically because he is our guy, supported by a lot of Americans. He works his butt off to get stuff done. And I still believe that they are jealous of him.
Yep.
Because he has so much, like, even respect to the world. Even, you know, that he goes after these people that didn't help with Iran. So, or countries, I should say. He just stands strong. There's just something about him that's just different than anyone we've had in that office, including Reagan. Reagan might have been nicer and better with his wording, but I disagree with people, because I hear Dean say it on your show all the time. I don't like the way Trump says stuff. I do. I guess I have grown older, and I'm in a fighting mode. So I just, not a word bothers me that he says.
Good.
And
I'm numb to it. It's just Trump. I don't care.
Well,
a lot of it, you got to look at it right, and it's usually pretty humorous. And gosh, humor is such an important thing in life.
Yeah.
And
he's a better comedy guy than most of them that are on tour.
Yes, he is. He's very,
Right.
he's very. I mean, just in the normal press interviews, in the informal. I mean, he's cracking jokes,
hilarious.
and getting facts out while he cracks jokes and laughing at.
And all the Democrats are very dour.
Yeah,
just so.
But if you look at the polls,
so much hate.
Sandy, they're not happy with life. The suicide rates are higher. They don't attend church in the same numbers. You look at all the polls. There's a huge social difference between the Republicans. You know, in large, it's not. It's percentages. Huge percentage of differences with the Democrats. They really are miserable.
Yeah.
Have they said what caused this? Is it because of the way they were raised, their friends?
I don't know that they looked into that, but I think it's the ideology that they push is always negative, negative, negative.
Yeah, he was online a lot. You know, the same story we've heard other places. He's online listening to a lot of those things in his manifesto. We've heard bits and pieces of his manifesto, but we haven't seen.
But it's all just the talking points of ABC News, CBS News, MS Now News,
Kimmel, and
all those guys, and he just like regurgitated all these talking points, which you think it doesn't have an effect. But I think the Democrats now see assassination as just another political tool.
Yeah. Unless it would be turned on them.
No, I don't even wish that.
I heard one of the five guys, he's got his own show. I don't know why I can't remember his name. And I've heard Gutfeld too, but the other man who's on the five, and he said basically this wasn't caused by some crazy group indoctrinating this guy, and it wasn't caused by some terrorist group indoctrinating this guy. It was caused by the Democrat Party and the media. He focused more on the media than I am. But to me, they are the same. And he's right.
I think so.
And you guys said that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got these groups that have protected speech actually promoting violence.
Yeah.
So they are going after some people that are putting out threats to kill President Trump and others. So I'm glad I think they should have done that a long time ago. There should have been consequences on Maxine Waters. And if they had stopped it a long time ago, we wouldn't have this stuff going on. And it would be better for the country.
Yeah, it looks like they're going after Comey, though. That's a good step, for the shell thing.
Right.
I think it's...
And it's not just the shell thing, I heard.
Oh.
That's not the whole story.
Supposedly.
So that'll be interesting to hear what the whole story is.
Yeah, supposedly they have text messages or something like that background to back it up. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, who's the assistant attorney general? He said it's not just the shell picture.
Okay.
These guys collected evidence, and they're not going to, they're going to at least have a case to present. So anyway, I'm still hoping that the Supreme Court gets the birthright citizenship correct, and I hope that they're being intimidated right now when Hakeem Jeffries and others go after them.
Hakeem just seems to be spooling up the rhetoric even after the assassination attempt. He just doesn't.
Oh yeah, he's a tough guy, man. He's real tough.
Yeah,
they're so tough. They'll put the little gun in the hand of whoever they want to send out. With using their words, but to try to keep their hands clean.
I don't think he could do anything.
I just have a lot of contempt for him.
I don't think he can do anything else. If you take away, the nastiness, what else is he going to talk about? He doesn't have a plan to move forward and perform anything for the country to repair anything.
Okay, but you said something really wise there. Yeah. They need to make a plan.
Right.
They need to have a plan. They need to sit down and act like grown-ups. That's another problem I have with that party. I don't think there are any real grown-ups that act like grown-ups in the party. They instead act like little kids.
Well, I think...
And that was my problem with Comey and the FBI bunch in 2016.
Yeah. I think, I look...
But go ahead, Greg.
I look at that, and I look at Fetterman, and I look at Harold Ford Jr., and it's like that's what the Democrats used to be. Yeah. They were center left, and I think there are a couple of them left, but I believe that there's more, but they're afraid to, be center left because the radical left is pushing them, and they want to get reelected, and so they've given up their I guess their ethical, moral values of what
the radical left took over the party.
Yes. Yeah, it has. It has. Yeah.
And they are really like the bullies. They are, in essence, like the authoritarians. They would have called Trump and the Nazis. They bully people. Yeah. They get their people to go after them, literally go after them. So. Yeah. Anyway, again, I'm going to agree with what you guys were first saying, and I didn't understand it all, and I don't know that we want to understand everything perfectly, but I really like the layered approach.
Yeah,
I don't want it just be one guy stepping in front of the president.
I think that's
I want layers of them.
I think that's normal.
Yeah, it is. So,
yeah, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sandy. I admit things. Yeah. I like learning. I didn't know that before.
Thank you for the call.
No problem. Have a great day. Bye.
Yeah. I think the one thing, something that's happened is, Butler, obviously there were mistakes made at Butler.
That was mistakes, obvious.
But the Biden administration purposely left Trump short-staffed for the number of agents he should have had, and they pulled agents off of desks to go out, which isn't completely unusual.
They had other Border Patrol agents in there, not Secret Service agents. They had others.
And so some mistakes were made, and I think everybody's gotten sensitized to that they made mistakes, and if they made mistakes one time, they're not. But you got to remember that Trump had his handpicked guy take over the Secret Service. Mm-hmm. So at the golf course, the guy, they were screening ahead of him playing golf, and the Secret Service agent started shooting at the guy way away from the president. So to me, they did their job.
They did there for sure.
And in this one, you pointed out that they were breaking down that station. The assailant only fired one shot. My understanding, what they said was the expended shotgun shell was still inside the weapon.
Janine Pereiro gave that testimony, explanation on air. Yeah.
So they got through, he ran through the first, but he didn't get past the top of the escalator. He didn't get past the bottom of the escalator, and he didn't get past the agents at the door going into the thing. So there was still 3 layers of security plus his guy that was next to him.
But he got past the guys that were on their knees taking the equipment apart.
Right.
That's what they were focused on at that time.
And from what I saw, there's a stairwell door that's
I haven't seen
10, 15 feet away from those magnometers, and that's where he came out of. And so it was only...
I imagine as they broke down all these perimeters because they don't need them anymore because there's no one else coming.
Right.
I imagine if he'd have gotten down to that first floor, he would have hit a wall of people.
Yeah. And I don't think he would have ever gotten down to the first floor. I think,
or the basement. And a lot of people say, well, we need a more a safer location. We shouldn't have it in the basement. I'm like, basement's like one of the safest because you're not going to come in a window.
Well, yeah. It is an issue when you have an active hotel with trying to screen people and that kind of stuff. That is an issue, but the ballroom to me makes sense. You know, when they host the King of England, the dignitary, and they have to do it in a tent. That's kind of, you know, that's great for us. You know, we put up big tents and have those big things.
I guarantee you all the Democrats want a ballroom also, except just not under Trump. It's just, it just comes down to, it's more about Trump than it is the country.
Yeah. And you know, the great thing about it is we're not paying for it. He's thrown in money and he's got other donors.
Democrats don't care about the money. We'll spend.
They're sending a message.
Yeah. They like spending government money.
Yeah.
They don't mind because we got more rich people we can attack. It's their fault.
Yeah, that's right. And then they attack the rich people and then they go out begging for money from them when they're running for election.
It's really sad what's going on right now in a few states like Washington and California and New York, where they've all become starting to realize we've killed the golden goose. What do we do? How do we retract? How do we get it back? Well, they've been doing it for so long. It's going to take just as long to get them back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously I would not want to live in New York or Chicago or
even Seattle now. Look what Seattle's doing.
Oh, I know.
And
they're saying, good riddance.
And California's a given. I mean, we should have walled off that state long ago.
Yeah.
And Newsom has done it no favors.
Can we divert the border wall to go between California
that was
and Arizona?
My idea. Yeah. That was my idea. And you're right about that vest. I can't believe the press came out and said it was probably friendly fire, you know, suggesting friendly fire.
Yeah.
He got shot by another agent. There's only one agent that discharged a gun. Did you know that? It was only one. And that was the guy that got shot.
Right.
No one else discharged a gun.
Yeah. Well,
they just tackled him.
If I was shot, my gun would be empty by the time I hit the ground.
5 may have emptied it. I have no idea what he had rounds.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And he was shooting on his way down.
Mm-hmm. I heard some big glass partition in there shattered or something. So one of the rounds must hit there.
If this picture is the Secret Service agent that is shooting, there are so many people. I'm surprised somebody didn't get hit.
Well, and I'm guessing that's why some of the hardest things is to restrain, not to shoot, rather than shoot. And
especially, I mean, they have a better idea what the security is and what it is downstairs and what it is everywhere else, and the checkpoints. You don't want to shoot unnecessarily. I mean, knowing what I know, knowing what little we know now, we don't know it all.
Right.
The president was pretty secure. This guy wasn't getting through the other layers.
No.
Especially after the gunshots went off and their alert went way up. Let's see you get through that door now. To the escalator even. He would have never got to the ground floor.
Yeah.
Let alone across the room to see,
There was one guy and that got in front of the president pretty quick. And then, within seconds. And then the other ones were multiple seconds. And actually, the JD Vance's bodyguard, I think, was closer to him. He grabbed his. They didn't ask
JD. They just
grabbed him, pulled him.
He had no choice, and he knew it. He's like, "Okay, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm going."
Yeah.
Now, President Trump, they grabbed him, and he fought him off. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Melania tripped, and he would not leave until Melania was taken care of.
Yeah,
he's a gentleman.
Yeah,
yeah. Newsom would have left.
Yeah.
I thought that was excellent. And Caroline pointed that out. She was sitting next to Melania, that the president was being escorted out, and he's the number one priority.
Right.
But his number one priority was Melania. How great is that?
Yeah.
What an example, setting examples.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it should be.
Absolutely. I want to talk about this escaped rabbit. I mentioned it to you.
Oh. Wascally Wabbit.
Yeah, it's right here in Ewan too. Some poor lady, Gail Handcock, is having a problem, a serious problem with what she says is probably more than 100 rabbits that started off as a neighbor that I guess had pet rabbits. You know, they did. The kids do that. They have pet rabbits.
Right.
Had some babies. Got free. Got into other yards in the neighborhood. I don't know what neighborhood she lives in, but it's Bunny Brook or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
but she says there's 8 holes in her backyard. All you know, and she's been working on this for some time to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
She's a very nice lady. She captures a few every week to give them away. I don't know who else. I mean, if I looked at my phone and saw Gail Hancock call me, I wouldn't answer it now because I don't want any bunnies. She's trying to be humane and all that.
Yeah.
She said she'd like to enjoy her backyard, but it belongs to them now. She's lived in that house for 50 years. So it began about 4 years ago. She's been struggling with this 4 years when these pet bunnies got free. And I didn't know they could be destructive, but she claims they're chewing through wiring in her home. They've somehow gotten into the house, gotten into the air conditioning ducts, into her house. And she sees cracks forming in the walls. She's put up some fencing, crates, covers around vents and filters to try to keep them out because they chew the wires. It's had to be replaced. You have to call people in to replace wires. And I guess they're getting underneath the house and all. And she's caught 8 rabbits yesterday, and she's been trying to give them away. So if you see somebody on the street corner giving away free rabbits, I'm sure that's Gail. Say hello.
Yeah.
She says he was getting Humane Society because I was asking to myself. I was like, well, why did she go to Humane Society?
Yeah.
And they started to help, but that she said it's faded now. Humane Society was taking 2 bunnies a month. But then the kitten disease came out and they shut that down. Animal control won't even come for a sick or injured one. Bunny, I mean, you know. She called an exterminator. I guess it got serious. No more nice. We're going to call Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
No rabbits. And they quoted her a price of $350 a rabbit.
Wow.
I'd do it for half that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And she's seen 32 at one time in her yard. I guess she stops and counts them. There's 32. I would say stop feeding them, Gail.
Yeah.
I have no idea if she's feeding them, but I'm thinking like, why would they hang around if there's no food and water? Yeah. She's probably humanitarian, wants to take, I mean, she's trying to give them away, trying to get help for them. She doesn't want them hurt.
Well, and that's the first approach. But when it gets so bad, I mean, then it's actually bad for the rabbits then too. You know, like you're saying, there's no food and all this.
There's got to be food. If you have 100 rabbits in your house, still getting food somewhere.
Yes, they are.
Maybe she thinks she's feeding cats.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know. I don't know her. I have no idea. So if you know Gail Hancock, try to see you help her out a little bit. Adopt a few rabbits.
Well, maybe there's somebody out there that will come and help take care of the rabbit problem. Get them all out of
I never knew we had a rabbit problem. I mean, I know about feral cats.
Yeah. Well, I've seen some places like in parks and that kind of stuff where the grass is completely covered with rabbit pellets, but it's usually wild rabbits that will come in to graze there, and then they poop and then they leave. But
when I first moved out to the foothills by AWC, we used to see those great big rabbits with those huge ears.
Yes.
Yeah. That was definitely native to the desert and all that stuff. But,
yeah.
The more it's developed so much now.
So,
kind of went away.
So these are like jackalopes.
Yeah. One of those. They had horns. No, they did not have horns.
Okay.
They did not. There was none of that. Let's talk to Carl real quick. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning. How are you fine gentlemen?
We're doing well,
Good,
sir.
Good, Carl.
You too, Greg.
Thanks.
I like your
Carl.
style.
Well,
I like it.
Well, Greg, when you was working for the city, you did us an awesome job.
Thanks.
So thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And also, I want to give my 2 cents to Mayor Nichols. That man, he does an awesome job for the city. So
yeah, and he's being chewed up on social media. I mean, there's some just rude, terrible stuff.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate, but it's what we got.
But look at our city. If you just stand back and look at it, how great our city really is.
Absolutely, and we're even going to have a spaceport.
Is that something that's going to happen?
Oh, we don't know yet, but it's in the works, so hopefully it will.
Yeah, and what Mayor Nichols explained is the city's just getting the license, and then a private company is the one that's going to come in and spend the money to do all.
Yeah.
So the city will provide the license, and they have some land that was bought decades ago that they'd use down south. But
Well, I guess we're going to swap
Yeah.
it for a different land is what they're trying to do through the state,
okay.
state land. Because where they want to go is where the state land right now. So they want to swap something out, which is
Yeah.
normal. They do that
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
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 So that's our city just works so fantastic. And I give you like, what was it that everybody bitched on when they were going to give them that money or trade land for the boiling the egg company
Right.
for boiling eggs?
Yes.
And that come out very well, didn't it, Greg?
It did. It did. We had to do, we actually had to go up and visit them and to get them to come here, but that went really well.
That's good. So a lot of
So
them do. Now we need data centers.
Yeah.
We'll see how. And Greg and I are going to talk about that data centers, because there's a lot of misinformation on that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of
And
water usage, power usage, all that. And I need to get APS in here and talk about it too. Because man,
You know,
there's so much misinformation out there. It's kind of like driving me crazy.
it drives us all crazy.
All right.
And like Mike was using that word if. Well, you know, I always heard if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass when he hops. So
Well,
I'll remember that one.
wow.
And with our mayor, hell, they don't pay that guy enough money to pay for his gas for all the stuff he does.
Yeah, he makes $12,000 a year to be mayor, and that's a lot of aggravation
Yes.
or no money.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but God
But you-
bless him, and I'm really glad that he does that. I mean, we've had some bad mayors, and it's nice to have somebody we can work with that really cares about the community.
Well, he is a people's mayor. He's out looking out for us. So
Yeah, he is.
so that's the way I look at it. Y'all have a good. This is Monday, isn't it?
It is.
It is. Happy Monday, buddy.
Happy Monday. So we got a whole week to straighten all this mess out.
All right.
There you go.
Take care, Carl.
Y'all have a good day. Have a good day, Greg.
Yeah, you too, Carl.
Yeah, didn't even call you a gentleman. Hey, I got Bob Johnson on line to ask a few questions specifically of you.
Of
So
me.
of you, because you know, just because you retired from the city after 9 years and all that, but well, your work's not over. Bob's got questions.
Okay.
Why did Greg tell Jacob Miller the charter said those elected to council could not receive health insurance because it was not in the charter? Do you remember that?
No.
At one time they did get health. I think they do now, don't they?
Right. Yes, they do.
Okay, so,
So
you don't recall that conversation?
No, but what came up was we were trying to get good people to run for council,
And you can't get pay raise because
they're only $3,800, and the pay raise has to go to people. So we did an inquiry into the legal about health insurance, and if we could offer that if they wanted to, and they said yes. So we did that to try to help offset some of their costs, because a councilman makes $3,800 a year, and like you were talking about, they don't even
doesn't pay their gas to get to work.
doesn't pay their gas, and they're on these different things, and sometimes they get mileage reimbursement, but coming back and forth, they're not allowed to get mileage or anything else like that.
Right. Just if they go to like Phoenix or something,
Right.
and you don't have a car
Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
When I was with the county, we used to take a county car.
Yes.
Versus my personal.
and you can
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. But the charter's easy to read.
Mhm.
And if there was something in there on elected officials, it would be easy to find. I don't know.
Right. It's not in there.
You may have made some comment about it's not in there. I don't know.
Right.
I don't think there was anything about. There was something about pay, probably. It has to be, because there's a layout how pay.
Yes, there is some stuff about salary and pay, and that's why if you're going to change their pay,
Yeah.
it has to go back to
To the
the
voters.
people to vote on it.
And ever since I've lived in Yuma, the voters in this city will not give a pay raise.
Well, they did actually approve one a long time ago where they raised it, but then the next group of people running for city council campaigned on getting rid of the pay raise.
Oh,
Yes, and so it was done away with. And
great.
That was way before my time.
I moved here in 95. They haven't had a raise since then. But
Yeah, I think it was while Marilyn Young was mayor.
yeah, when I moved here, she was mayor already.
Yeah,
And-
I think she served 2 terms.
Did
Yeah.
she?
Yeah.
Well, then he says, why would the mayor's firm be on call firm, being on call firm. Is that, why would they be on call?
So
For core engineering?
yeah, so there's competitive contracts that are put out. And of course, the state of Arizona, you are only allowed to do qualifications. You can't do pricing or anything like that for professional services like architects, engineers, all those kind of stuff. So what the city will do is they'll put out a RFQ, request for qualifications, and then all companies submit their qualifications to do certain projects.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be, usually there are multiple agencies in each of the different, multiple companies in each of the different areas that are on call. It'd be core engineering, there's 3 or 4 different engineering, Nicholas, all those kind of stuff. And they'll be in a row, and they'll put out, a project, and then they'll take the company, but they aren't allowed to take bid money. Now my fact checker is going to correct me. And so,
Yeah, you'll always be corrected.
yeah, but so they can have multiple companies on there. Like the easiest example is tow trucks.
Well, I was just to say
Yeah.
tow trucks, they have a list and they kind of rotate them.
Yes, yeah, and dispatch has a list of all the tow truck companies, and they go, okay, Backyard Automotive, you're doing second one. Alexander,
Because they try to be fair.
Yeah, and they just rotate through the list.
So he's on
And it's
call
the
like
same
that,
thing.
like on that kind of list. Okay.
On call for projects, and there's other engineering firms. You can list them all here, and
Now-
most of them are on that responded. Most of them. Will
Here's
be
where
on
your
it.
fact checker, Bob Johnson, nailed you. And I think that he's right, but you may
What's
have
that?
information I don't know. I think you said 3,900 a year is all they make. It's actually 36,300 a month.
Is it 3,600? I was thinking it was 3,800.
Yeah.
for the
So you got
council.
caught in a lie, Greg.
Yeah, it's only
You know.
been 7 years since I had to deal with that. I try to put that stuff behind me.
Caught you, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was 3,800, but
Yeah, it's
whatever
30.
it is.
It's 36. I knew it was 300 a month, but I wasn't going to correct you. See,
Yeah.
that's because I'm a weak host.
Yeah.
If I was strong enough, I probably would have. I'd have beat you up.
Yeah, but every city in this state has on-call contracts for engineers, because you don't, if something breaks, like a retaining wall or something like that, you don't have time to put out a bid of contracts.
So
You
they
just
wrote-
have to go,
They do it to make
boom,
fair.
you do this one, go get it. And
Which-
every city, I
We're
think,
in a
has
small
those.
town, and if you're going to pay a mayor 1,200, you're going to get somebody that owns a business, works, or does something, or
Yeah.
retired or something. It's limited.
Yeah.
And I think it's been handled transparently, fairly, openly from everything I've seen.
And actually, if you want to take this on, state law prohibits bidding on engineering contracts, professional services, and it's prohibited. You're not
Oh.
allowed to bid. You actually do the qualifications.
Okay. And then
bid.
rotate it.
Yeah.
When I was a county supervisor, I actually had a store in the county
Mhm.
doing all the. I mean, I supplied all of the material for the one shop that works on all the trucks.
Yeah.
That was procured before I became county supervisor, but I never thought about it. I mean, nobody comes in and beats up the county supervisors like they do the city anyway, for some reason.
No. Well, it's
But-
because I think it's because the county supervisors meet during the day.
Yeah, that's good. And
They
we need
meet
to
at-
keep that
yeah,
up.
They meet at 10 o'clock in the morning, so people are at work and they're
Yeah.
not on. it.
How
And-
dare they?
Yeah, and then the city meets, of course, at night when
Yeah.
everybody can be there. And I
But
think-
the county also doesn't do all the ordinances and stuff that the
Right.
city does.
Well, and you got to understand the differences between a county and a city. So
Yeah.
the county is more
It's state government. It's extension of state government.
Yeah, it's an extension of state government. It's more hands off. They
Yeah.
don't have all the services that
Well,
we
like
have in a city.
Parks and Recreation, although that's changed, I guess they've opened a park.
Yeah, but people live in a city because they have those facilities. They have
Yeah, like trash collection,
trash
everything.
collection. They have parks.
Water.
Water and sewer. You live in the
Counties don't do
county.
that stuff.
No. I mean, you have Far West or whatever the new one
Well,
is,
but that's private
it's
business.
private. Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of people in the county have wells, and so they don't have to
Yeah,
do a lot of
right,
those things.
right.
Now you do have like the health department in the county where you don't have that in the city, but
But the
So-
health, it's not controversial.
right.
It handles federal programs like WIC and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And, help, inoculations and stuff like that. But
Right.
it's not a it's not a big problem. You know, we go out and look for mosquitoes.
Right. Yeah.
It's a lot of government sponsored, I mean, federal, state funded programs and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to abate insects or diseases and stuff like that.
Right.
Gilbert's calling. Let's take a call from Mr. Gilbert. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. Hey, Mr. Greg, how you doing?
Hey, Gilbert. Good.
I had some humor this morning, actually,
Uh-oh.
and it has to do with rabbits.
Oh, there you go.
Good. Maybe you can help Gail out.
Well, Greg's been out to my house a few times, my backyard, my peppers, and all my bushes.
Yep.
Well, I got these bougainvilleas. They're like about 3 foot tall, anywhere from 3 foot tall to 2 foot tall. And I put irrigation in them, right? And part and I transplanted a nice tree, and we put irrigation on it. Well, last week I came out after feeding the birds. I came out there, and Carter goes, "You're not going to believe what you're going to see." And I go, "What's that?" She goes, "There's a rabbit. We have rabbits, no biggie."
Mm-hmm.
This rabbit was actually laying out on the cool grass, the cool dirt. She was stretched out sunbathing. Seriously.
You treat them too nice over there, man.
Yeah.
Then I went and checked my bougainvilleas, and there's a couple of holes where they dug up and they lay in there and they just hang out.
Yeah.
Now I'm glad they're not eating the leaves of the bougainvilleas, but I've had to put some stuff around my chipotine chilies because the birds are eating my chipotine. Chipotines are your red round chilies that you get for crushed peppers.
Yeah.
You put on pizzas. That's what chipotines are.
Well, those
these babies.
Yeah, those bougainvilleas have those big thorns on them, so they're like nasty if you've ever had to deal with them. Yeah.
Yeah. The ones where they're hanging out they're the long stemmed ones. They're round instead of your traditional bougainvilleas that are big and wide. They're round and bushy. They're bushy. I love those because they don't toss the leaves as much as the big bougainvilleas do.
Yeah.
But we have rabbits. But then again, we have hundreds of birds come and feed, and we got snakes, and we got
you have owls and eagles and stuff like that, so they kind of keep the nature's balance.
You got to wear protective clothing to go in Gilbert's yard.
It's pretty wide.
It's actually pretty nice. It's open in the back, so you can look out over the desert. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Nobody can build in his backyard.
No, not behind us.
Right.
No, they're trying, but not happening. We had one particular visitors at our house when we were gone. We were in Parker, and our neighbors called up or texted us, said, "Don't let the dogs out. Don't let the dogs out. There's a bobcat on top of your DirecTV satellite." I go, "What?" Yeah, there was a bobcat on top of the satellite.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah. He was looking at the owl next door.
Oh, okay.
That's what they said. They were trying to look at it. But we've had coyotes jump over the fence and drink water. We have a pond, and we have lots. Like I said, one year I had, I think it was 4 or 5 buzzards drinking water out of it. Took a picture and I sent it out on Facebook. Democratic Party at the watering hole. I got some good laughs out.
I appreciate the call, my friend. Take care, man.
Bye, Gilbert.
Oh, Gilbert. Yeah, he's got nature in action right out in the backyard.
Yeah, see, nature will take care of itself.
It
See,
will.
that's what she could just get a few, an owl or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we could have some owls over at Gail's place, those rabbits would disappear.
Yeah, those big barn owls work their way into the city every once in a while.
Do they?
Yeah, we had one over at our other house too, and we had to make sure we had small dachshunds, and we had to make sure we kept them inside the house.
Oh, because they could be carried off.
Yes.
I got a note here from my fact checker, Edward, and I expected something negative from him today because, Kentucky Derby, he went to the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, we didn't get to go. We were there one time when he was there with his daughter.
But you didn't say anything. He'd probably come on down and said hello.
Well, he told us to come up and see him, and then
we forgot about it. You got so excited you forgot.
Well, we had my brother-in-law and his wife, or my brother and his wife, and Nicole's sister, and her husband.
But see, I knew he'd be in a bad mood today because he took his daughter, Madison, wonderful lady, teenager.
Yeah. Yes, met her.
And Madison beat him on picking the horses. See, Edward doesn't take loss very well.
Yeah, I know. Well, Nicole taught her to shoot. You know, when you were hosting Edward and stuff out here.
And she's wonderful kids, you know.
Yes.
And she's
they had a good time.
She follows her dad out to Kentucky and then shows him how to bet the horses.
Yeah.
So he sends me a note. Has nothing to do with horses. Yeah. It has to do with elections. Talrico is leading both Cochran and Paxton in the new polls in Texas, which I look at that and I scoff at it. I say, well, that's because his opponent dropped out.
Right.
You know, he's ahead, or he's already won the Democratic election. He didn't get over 50% anyway.
Yeah.
And so there's still some infighting on the Republicans until they get through the primaries.
Right.
And then he writes, Democrats take lead in the Senate and the state Texas Senate race. Talrico is worse than Jasmine Crockett.
Well,
you know, from what I've seen. And I don't see him getting any traction in Texas. It's going to give him a win, but I've been surprised before.
Well, hopefully the article like this that shows him ahead will scare all the Republicans in Texas so they will show up. Yeah.
And he says, Texas going blue means a higher chance of Trump being impeached by the Senate. Now, see, another thing. See, that's because Madison beat him in Kentucky. He's talking so negative like that.
You're going to get a phone call after the show.
That's what that's all about.
Yeah, you're going to get a phone call after the show, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, she's better at picking the horses.
No, it just means Edwards taught her well.
Edward did teach her well. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. She's a remarkable young lady.
Yeah. See, and that's what you want. You want your children to, succeed and do even better than you did.
Yeah. I mean, see, he sent me an article on the Warthog A-10 Thunderbolt.
Oh yes,
I like those.
It's a great airplane.
They're just so unique looking. They look mean. And I went to the Barry Goldwater range and watched them beat up a tank. Mm-hmm. They are scary.
Right.
When they start releasing that cannon,
yes,
you're just glad they're on your side.
Yeah. And
when you first see them coming, I was up at the tower at Barry Goldwater range, and we were invited, and you see them as little dots off in the distance. They don't look that scary. But as soon as they get close enough that you could hear them and they unleash that thing, it's like, holy man, how'd they get here so fast? I know they're slow, but
and one of the issues I think Congress has actually overridden, and McCain was a good one at this, actually overridden the services. But the services, and maybe it'll be different now with Pete Hegseth, but the services, especially the Air Force, tends to want the sexy platforms and all this other kind of stuff. And sometimes in combat, you got to get dirty. And the A-10 is a get it dirty, get it done.
This one doesn't look sexy.
Yeah. And once
which I think is its appeal. It's rough.
Yeah. And, in Desert Storm, the A-10 was a great asset to have. And, they're talking about retiring it. And now, once again, the A-10 has stepped up to the forefront.
Well, they can do things that sexy planes can't do. Yeah. They can do low flies for the boats. That's what they're doing in the Strait.
Yes.
These guys were designed for that.
Right. And these slow moving drones, where the jets can't fly that slow, the A-10s just pull up on them and just use their gun and gun them down, and they don't have to fire a $500,000.
Well, now they've decided to keep them another decade or something.
Yeah, but what they need to do is they need to proceed with the upgrade, because they shut down the school and they shut down a lot of the other things. I think what they really need to do is, I believe there was another version of the A-10 that was like an updated platform.
Yeah, I saw some videos on that.
Yeah, and we need to have those in the inventory. You can't have all sleek standoff, sexy airplanes.
Well, and those planes were built more for air-to-air combat and bombing runs and stuff like that, because they're invisible, some of them.
Right, and these standoff.
Like the F-35 is a great airplane.
Yeah,
it's different than the A-10, though.
Yeah,
you don't want that thing flying low. Yeah. I mean, its whole idea is to be invisible, not to be low.
The missions are different, but you still have to fulfill all those missions. And the A-10 is a great platform for that, and it's a survivable platform. I mean, I saw A-10s take hits from surface launch manpad missiles, portable,
a lot of small arm fires.
And they'll hit an end, take an engine out. Saw one come back that only had like 2 feet of one of the wings, 2 feet left on the wing, and flew back and
kept
landed.
coming in.
Yeah, came back. You know, so and you've heard some stories about even some from this Iranian war where you know, all the hydraulics, everything was out. She kind of flew it with the engines back until she got out of thing, and then punched out. But yeah, it's
we lost one in you know, for that rescue of that down pilot or weapons systems officer. We lost one. He got shot up, and it didn't. It stayed in the fight, but when it was headed back to base, he says it's too crippled to land. I can't land this safely.
So he punched out. Yeah. And that's why we need an airplane like that, the next version, for the actual thing when we go toe to toe in combat, because you're not always going to be able to launch cruise missiles from you know, miles away to take stuff out.
And the F-35 does that well.
Yes, it does. You got F-35,
F-22s. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and the F-16 is kind of in the middle of that, but still the F-16 was designed.
That's had a lot of upgrades.
Yeah, and it has, and it's can still do
They're
lot
still
of
making
things.
them.
Yes, they are, and it's a great airplane, but it doesn't do the mission that the A-10 does.
No, it doesn't. And they thought it would, from what I read.
Yeah,
like when they were trying to get rid of it under McCain, they were saying, well, that's what we built the F-16s for, and all that is to take over. But it doesn't really fill the role completely.
Well, McCain is a pilot. He knows.
He does.
An F-16 is not an A-10.
The reason Edward sent me this, though, was apparently it just helped in a search in Florida for a 73-year-old guy that got lost, and they had a lot of people out looking for him. They called in the A-10s because they got that night vision goggles and all that other sensing stuff. You know, and they have upgrades,
and they can fly slow. And
and they were able to find him where, you know, the sheriff's office and their helicopters and stuff, they don't have the equipment the A-10 does.
Right.
And they were able to help out. And it's good that they use them in those roles occasionally.
Yeah.
You know, get some military stuff out there to do some of that stuff, which is nice. I like them. And my son's getting stationed in Tucson. So I don't know if he's going to be anything to do with A-10 or not. I mean,
Davis Motham or
I'm gonna have to ask him when he gets here. I was like, "What the heck is your job now?" And a lot of times he doesn't tell me because I blab it.
Yeah, well, Davis Motham has a lot of intelligence stuff, and they fly drones and that kind of thing out of there. And,
they do.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going to be involved in. Right now, he's in Sicily. He's involved with the drones. I mean, he was the Ospreys. He was a commander for Osprey Squadron, and then they put him into something in Sicily with some drone warfare stuff that he won't tell me details about.
Yeah.
And then and now going to Tucson, which was a surprise. I didn't, you know, he spent 6 years in the Phoenix, you know, after he was a lieutenant, which was nice having him close to the house.
Yeah, it is nice.
Now he's been like a decade overseas.
Yeah.
England, United Arab Emirates, Japan, and Sicily. Yeah. He likes it.
Yeah. How's his wife doing with all the stuff going on?
Well, you know, they're divorced.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When the war started, she wanted to go home and visit her mom, and she did. And then she wouldn't
leave.
She didn't want to come back to the United States. She had a bad experience. My son, when he finally got her over here, because they were married, and he lived in Boston at the time, he got stationed in Afghanistan for 8 months, 9 months.
Okay.
And he was going to say, well, I'll just leave her here at the apartment. She likes big cities. I said, I think it's a mistake. Why don't you just send her to Yuma, let her stay with us for a while?
Yeah.
So she likes big cities and all that stuff. She was intimidated. She didn't, I mean, she knew English, but she didn't know.
Yeah.
She has 5 languages.
Right.
And all that stuff. But she was uncomfortable, alone, no friends, no family. And she said, well, I'm just going to go back. And then she figured, you know, she had such a bad experience in the United States, and nothing scary, just uncomfortable. She just decided to stay for no other, for no other reason, which was horrible for him and stuff. And they stayed in touch for years, but I don't know if they still are.
Yeah.
Wonderful lady. She refuses to leave during the war because her mom's there and some relatives. And so she stayed. And early on, when it looked like it was going to be a 3-day war, Edward had made some suggestions on how he could help and get her to Turkey and stuff. And she didn't want it.
Yeah.
She said, I'll stay, you know. Tough people.
Well, they've shown that.
Yeah,
They've
oh
shown
man,
that,
and educated. I mean, yeah, when I visited there, when I was there for just a week or so, but yeah, we had to get all these shots because it's a third world country, and I was thinking,
Right.
oh man, it's gonna be worse than Mexico and all that stuff, and it it was like, wow, this is a great metropolitan area. It's
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah.
People are friendly, over the top friendly. It's westernized. Lots of well-educated people. They just didn't have a lot of money. There was not a lot of industry yet. But if they get through this war and rebuilding and reinvestment, they're going to boom.
I would think so.
I mean, they have a work ethic, a workforce, and the location, everything. But it's going to go crazy. I think this before the war, they were known for some graft and some problems because they were an extension of Russia. I mean, they were under the Soviet Union for so many years, and they operated like that. And there was a ton of it. In fact, while I was visiting, I'd walk off to go talk to somebody, and my son would grab me and say, "What are you doing?" I said, "I was going to go talk to those guys in the Mercedes." Dad, don't you know? I mean, those are like mafia guys.
Yeah. Well, and,
he tried to keep me out of trouble.
Yeah, you see that in the socialist communist
Yeah,
countries,
yeah.
and unfortunately, we're seeing some of that here. When
Of
you got
course,
Minnesota,
we've imported it.
Socialists, and yeah, the fraud is just off the charts.
Yeah. But this war in Ukraine, I know there's been a lot of demands from Western countries that are helping. That you got to clean it up, got to clean it up, got to clean it up, and I'm assuming they've done a lot of that, and at least some of the reports are that they've done a lot of it, and we know a lot of the equipment, everything's getting to the front lines, in spite of what you might hear, because they've had an impressive results.
Yes. Yeah.
Against the Russians, who outnumber them hugely.
Right.
Outfund them, outnumber them, and Ukraine's not only holding their own, they're pushing them back.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going, but right now, Ukraine has devastated a lot of the oil industry in Russia. They've blown up ports, they've blown up refineries, they've blown up pipelines, and that's where Russia makes their money, just like Iran makes money on the oil, and that's what's been supplying their war effort.
Right. And
they just want to shut it down, and they've been highly effective, and a lot of that's on their own.
Mm-hmm.
The Western countries said, "We'll supply you weapons, but you can't attack Russia," which means they only can fight on their own land. I mean, that's a losing proposition in the long run.
Yeah. Well, I think they put that aside now.
Now they have.
My understanding, they're sending these drones deep and attacking their power plants and oil.
Yeah, but early on, those drones were only the ones manufactured in Ukraine. Only the ones, because the Western country says you can't use our equipment.
Mm-hmm.
They can't make them stop.
Well, that was Biden was an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. Well, Trump has released it. Trump has been okay with it, but
yeah,
early on. But the stuff now that's going deep, we're not giving them anything that deep. They're doing that on their own.
Right. Yeah.
The stuff that's going in 1,000 miles into Russia and taking out targets. That's their designs. That's their equipment.
Yes. Yeah, and they've done some. I was amazed when I heard about this, where they had I guess it was like a semi that was full of drones that was way inside of Russia.
That was almost a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, where they took out some of their long-range bombers and some other things, and they actually launched them from within Russia. And yeah, that was an amazing feat. It's kind of like the Israelis with the pagers blowing up, where they took out the.
That was a lot more devastating than any of us recognize.
Yeah,
I mean, that really destroyed a lot of opposition, and then scared them and all that stuff. But that thing in Ukraine with the tractor trailer, all those drones were kind of like artificial intelligence. It was early on with some of the artificial intelligence. They not only took out the planes, they remotely opened up the roof on that tractor trailer, and they flew directly to the air base and hit these specific bombers. But not just hit them; they hit them in a specific place where they knew it would ignite their fuel.
Yeah,
and destroy them. And they destroyed like a third of their bombers on one day.
Well, and that's Putin had to move all his bombers to the east coast.
Yeah, they have been innovative, and I don't know how much we've helped them. I mean, I know we had Green Beret working with them since 2014.
Yeah. Well, I think we've helped them with targeting information and that kind
Well,
of
we've helped them with
stuff,
some
but-
intelligence and strategies because they couldn't do the same strategies as Russia. They'd lose.
Yeah. Well, and I think we talked about this, like the Hawk missile systems we gave them.
Did we? We didn't give them the Hawk.
Yeah, we did.
The Hawks, really?
Yeah, the ones that they have the Marine Corps Hawk system that has been
Hypersonic?
retired. No, they're anti-aircraft missile
Oh,
systems.
anti-aircraft. Okay, I'm thinking of
Yeah.
that Golden Hawk. I mean, there's a,
Oh, no, not the hypersonic. That's Golden Eagle.
Golden Eagle or
Dark
something.
Eagle, or
I
something
don't
like
remember
that.
what it
but
was.
No,
we only have like 8 of them.
yeah, no, but we had tens, thousands of missiles and wartime storage, and we had deactivated it, and so they just ran all that equipment through a quick rehab and sent it over there, and they were kicking butt.
And not a lot of people know that we gave them equipment that was all going obsolete or needed to be decommissioned. And decommissioned, you hire people at great expense to destroy it, whatever. We just give it to them, let them destroy it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, well, and
not all of it, but a lot of it.
Yeah, I think we gave them some ground launched AMRAAM missiles. Norway gave them the NASAMS. I'm using acronyms, but those are all anti-aircraft missiles.
But they knew they didn't have an unlimited supply, and they knew that. And that's why they built their own drone fleets. And their drone fleets are now taking out more. When to shoot a Patriot missile, and those are current, Patriots are not $1 million, $2 million a shot.
Yeah, they're a lot of money.
And they're great. They apparently do the job, but Russia's going to keep sending in $30,000 targets,
right,
and just wear you out. So now they've got their own supplied drone that equates in price to that and is very effective.
Yes.
And they don't need the Patriots for all that. Use the Patriots for the bombers and other stuff.
Yeah.
I heard they're buying some anti-aircraft stuff from Japan. Did you hear that?
I had not heard that.
Japan apparently has a system that's a lot cheaper than the Patriot, and it has more range, and they can start shooting the bombers further deep in Russia. Now, a lot of the bombers are dropping bombs over Russia that glide into Ukraine so that they don't put themselves at risk.
Right.
Well, Japan has got some stuff that would take that out.
Okay.
And they're now shipping that stuff. Japan is getting aggressive now, and it's the first time they have exported anything since World War II.
Yeah.
Because they were very constricted on, we don't want you to go into another superpower type stuff. Well, the gloves are off.
Yeah.
And Japan wants to help Ukraine. They're tired of Russia.
Yeah, I think Japan's especially tired of China, but Russia also.
Yeah.
All the things that they're doing. Yeah.
And I think they want to show that they can flex muscle too. They got some unique stuff that could be very helpful.
Yeah. And of course, they get their oil through the Straits of Hormuz.
Well, not
a lot of it, but now they're getting it from the U.S.
I was going to say, we just shipped over millions of gallons.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is okay. I mean, they're an ally. They have not helped us at the Strait of Hormuz, by the way. They're on Trump's target list of like unfriendly to that. That doesn't mean we cut them off on oil or anything, but I like the relationship Trump has with the prime minister over there, though. I mean, it looks like they're very
Japan.
Yeah. Like they're very friendly and very open, and it looks like he really relates to her, and she's very much a Japan first type lady. Very much the cut of cloth of a Trumpian type leader.
Well, and we have that, in Italy, we have that now. In Japan, we have that now. Poland is like that. There's several,
and Germany,
several countries.
I'm joking, of course. Well, in fact, says I brought up. Well, no, let's talk about data centers first. We got to get to that.
Okay.
Because you have some real knowledge on it that I don't have on the data centers. But right now, the data centers, and of course, they're popping up all over the country. It's AI type necessary because they do all the number crunching, and they got to have all these systems set up across the nation to support the AI movement. And it's going to be immense. I mean, they're talking about more data centers than what we can handle currently with electricity and everything.
Right.
But there's a lot of people against it, and I want to talk about that. But let me get Gilbert through first, since he did call back.
Okay.
Mr. Gilbert.
I'm calling back because right now I'm seeing signs of Korea, Vietnam War again.
Where?
Where we're going to stop. We're going to do peace talks. We're going to let them have their little peace talks to try to get themselves together. And then they're They go back to the table to do whatever they're doing. Then all of a sudden they're attacking again or trying to do this. We keep on going back and forth as we did in Vietnam War and Korea.
I
So-
think you're wrong, but
That's okay.
but no,
That's
that's
okay.
fine. That's fine. But no, I appreciate it, because I think that opinion is starting to spread a little bit, and it needs to be discussed. And we'll do that after the data centers. But I appreciate that.
But there's a lot of people who are saying the same thing. I was
Correct.
talking to people last night,
Correct.
Yeah.
and they said the same thing. Look,
Right.
every time we say, okay, go back to your tables and talk about it, let's see what's the proposal?
Yeah.
Because stuff that our commander in chief had said what he was going to do to them if they don't, own up to what their promises.
Correct.
How many times have we heard that?
Well,
We've heard that too many times.
I agree with you, and I'll talk about that after the data centers, because I think it's a little different than you think. But okay, thank you, thank you, buddy. Take care. Bye bye. No, it's a legitimate.
Yeah.
Legitimate
It is.
question, but I disagree. But let's just talk about data centers first.
Okay.
But the data centers are becoming necessary in the country, and they bring high tech jobs. Not a lot, but it's going to be high tech jobs.
Right.
And a lot of people are pushing back for a couple of reasons. They say it's going to suck up all the water, and it's going to make the power rates go up, and it's going to have toxic chemicals, and and so people are starting to protest across country now. I think China funds that protest, and that's just a guess.
Right.
But
No, China is funding influencers to
block it.
spread disinformation, because that's who we're in competition with.
So
and that is happening.
let's address those issues. The first one is water,
Okay.
and we know that we've been in a drought for 20 years, bro.
Right. Right.
And that water is scarce. And these things, like any business, use water. Every business, in fact, Precision
Yes.
Automotive, we use water. But
So first of all, let's look at the city of Yuma. So the city of Yuma has priority 3 water, 50,000 acre feet. We also have 17,000 acre feet of priority 1 water. We use about 20,000 acre feet. So we are nowhere near our allocation. In fact, other people really are using our water, and that's what's happened.
so we use less than half
Yes.
of what we've got a lot.
Yeah, about a third. And so what happens is, so when our water runs through the system and it goes, we have 2 wastewater treatment plants. One is Figueroa, and when they clean the water, they actually put the water back into the Colorado River.
And now, wait a minute. And that's for wastewater, for like toilet water and all that.
Right. They clean
Okay.
the water,
Right.
and then they put it back in the river, and we get what's called return flow credits.
Right.
So we return that water back, and that's one. The second one is Desert Dunes, and that's a membrane plant, just like you have reverse osmosis. Now, the water that comes off of Desert Dunes is Class A water. So it's actually in the same category as river water, but I think it's actually a little bit cleaner.
It's drinkable,
Yeah, it's drinkable.
but it's got
But
a yuck factor because it
it
came
does.
out of the toilet.
Toilet to tap, yeah, has a
Yeah,
bad.
I know.
So what we've been doing for many, many decades since that plant's been in there, I can't remember what year we did it, maybe not decades, but is we just let it go in the ground and it perks into the ground.
Well, and that's what Far West did. And I spent a lot of time in Far West understanding these systems. And they had basically RO water that came out. So it's very drinkable. Hand me a glass. I said, nope.
Yeah.
But it's just a yuck factor. But they pumped it into the ground by law. They had to at that time.
Yes. And so what we've done, what the city's done at Desert Dunes, I guess we've been working on this park with the lake out there. So that lake is Class A water that comes off of Desert Dunes. It is clean.
Yeah.
It's just as clean, if not cleaner, than the river water. But there's still other water that perks into the ground. So as you know, APS, Palo Verde, uses recycled water off of one of the wastewater plants.
Right.
They clean it and they recycle it. Now, this thing about the water being toxic, that's just BS.
Well, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I've had some people tell me that, but I guess I want to see some documentation too. And I need to get my hands on some.
Well, and the thing is, so if you look at cooling systems and stuff, as you run water through the metal pipes to
could pick
cool
up some
things.
lead. It could pick up some stuff.
Well, it can pick up some stuff.
Depending on
but-
what's in there.
but
I don't know
it's-
if they
but
use
it's not-
soldering anymore.
But
for
it's
that
not.
stuff.
No, they don't. But
Okay.
it's not toxic or anything like that. So they can recycle. So if you take some of the water that we let go into the ground, because one of the proposed locations, and this was by some private companies that own land, they were trying to court a data center to come, and it was close to the 6C plant, which means they could actually use some of that water that we let perk into the ground, which goes, I'm going to say, to waste,
Right.
and they could use that water and recycle it for cooling.
How much water does a data center? actually-
550,000 gallons a year, which is about.
Is that an average?
Yeah, that's an average. It's about 1 point.
It's not even an acre foot, is it?
It's 1.3 acre feet, something like that.
Okay.
I'm just estimating.
So negligible, really,
Yeah,
compared
and
to our.
they recycle it just like Palo Verde recycles
So-
the water.
And they can when they recycle. Do you know how much they can keep? They recycle and retrieve 90%, 80%. Do you know?
Something like that. I don't know an exact.
Well, see, and
number,
that's what I
but-
want to get some figures on. I guess I could find that out.
But if they're taking water that we're just wasting, going to waste, there's going to be no gain, no usage, additional usage of water. And
Right.
so it's not going to cost
Right.
anything.
But it's kind of nice to know too that they're recycling and they're going to retrieve. And I want to know what the percentage is. Now I talked to Adams, who's running for, I think his name's Adams, and it's running for
Right,
mayor.
Adams.
And he says, no, it's so toxic, nobody can ever touch it again. I think that's insane.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
And that's not even true.
He's probably picked up a Chinese talking point. Or
Well,
something like that.
I've asked, and Edward sent me some information on that. Said, radioactive water is very expensive or hard to treat, but it can be, but they don't necessarily because of the complexities. And there are some plastics that you could have some small plastic particles or something in there that might be hard to get out or something. That's not what
Right.
they have. But
Right.
but basically, there's nothing out there that can't be treated.
Right.
Radioactive water can even be treated, but they don't.
Right.
They don't have that much of it. They're not gonna do it. But
there's nothing radioactive in a data center. So
no. And the small plastic things are all through the ocean and everything anyway.
Right.
It's everywhere, unfortunately.
microplastics.
Microplastic. That's what I
Yeah.
was looking for. Microplastics. And they're studying that now and what the health effect is and what it could be done to clean up if we need to. But it's everywhere.
Right.
It's everywhere. But I wanted to put the water to rest. I mean, the water's not that big a deal. But
And it's
before I
not
move
that
on,
big
let
a
me.
deal,
I
but
got it.
it's if they go around and do the agreements that way, it's no impact on water in Arizona.
It's not even an impact.
No.
Let's take a phone call before we talk about APS. Hey, Ted, what are you up to?
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Well, good morning.
You ought to see the watermelons up here at the American Legion post. I just drop it off product and man, they look good.
Well, you didn't bring me one, right?
I got the bottle of Jack at the house. I'll fill it up and bring it over.
Oh, okay. Appreciate it.
Do watermelon shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a pretty good crowd up here.
And
I was just
what are they
dropping
doing at
off
the
some
American
stuff.
Legion today?
That food drive thing,
Oh, good. Good.
or for people to pick up food if they need it or something.
I didn't know that. And that's the one on Virginia Avenue?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. And like I said, watermelons look good.
Well, I know you're supposed to be dropping off, but you might want to pick one of those up.
Nah.
All right.
I got tomatoes at the house size of watermelons.
Do
I'll eat those.
you grow tomatoes?
Yeah.
You have a garden?
Out front. Sort of. I told you I had that victory garden.
Yeah. Yeah. I drove by your house the other day, but I didn't stop, man. I was afraid you'd be painting the sidewalks or something.
Matter of fact, I was starting another flower bed, digging it up, and because they use the flower beds around the house to contain the water runoff around the pool and all.
Yeah.
And over the years, it's compacted and it just floods the back entrance door.
Man, you
So
need
I'm
to
digging them out.
You need
I'm
to call the
digging 'em out
mayor and
with
get that
dry
flooding
wells.
problem taken care of, man. Mayor will fix it.
Yeah, right.
Tell Doug I said hello.
What's that saying? What was that saying? A pump and a mule. What was
A
that
pump
saying?
and a mule. Is that what you want? You need a pump?
A pump and a mule.
All right.
Yeah, Lord. Well, you guys have a very good Monday, and I'm gonna go home and wait for Gutfield to come on.
Oh, me too.
Okay.
In a bit. Thanks, buddy. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
All right, have a good day, guys.
All right, this is Ted. American Legend. All right, we covered the water. It's not
Right.
it's not the problem. I don't have the documentation on it yet, but I know
Yeah.
you've done the research.
Yes.
The other thing is the APS, which really annoys me. They're saying that and I know Nicole had to knock on the door to get solar because the fear of this data center is going to suck up so much of their budget to put in the data center that it's going to raise our rates. Well, that's just not true. I know it's not true.
No, it's not true. That's not the way APS charges. That's not the way. And Trump has also opened up the door for them to bring their own power.
Yeah.
And so currently there are 3 gas lines being built from Texas to
And this is
Yuma
for
and
automotive
area.
gas type stuff?
It's I
think natural gas.
They can put all kinds of things in them. You know,
Okay.
they have the pigs that they separate it and clean it and stuff. And so there's 3 lines being constructed that are coming this way.
It's going to take a few years. But
Yeah, they're coming this way from Texas because, as we know, right now, a lot of our gasoline we get from California, and California is trying to shut down the 2 remaining refineries they have.
They had judges shut them. I mean, Trump made that stop somehow through judges and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the APS thing, data centers right now in the country, we don't have enough infrastructure to support what we want to build.
Right. And
all the power companies are building infrastructure like crazy.
Yes.
Right now. APS is same.
Right. And so the data center will carry their own. But there's something you need to understand too as a taxpayer. Okay. So we have people that are fighting to locate these data centers at different places. So what's going on is the federal government says, well, fine, we'll put them in on federal land. Right. Well, if they put them on federal land, you don't get the property taxes, you don't get the benefits of having it all, and you still have to give up everything else. You have to provide everything else. Now, there is something called PILT, payment in lieu of taxes, which you're familiar with.
I'm very familiar. We used to go fight every year to get it, and it's a small percentage of what it would be if it was taxes.
Right. So we want those data centers to be built on regular
tax land.
Tax land.
Because government services and all the services of this community need to take care of it, whether it's on tax land or federal land.
Exactly.
But on federal land, we don't collect any money for it except for a small PILT fee, which does not cover crap.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And these things. The other thing you need to understand too is with your solar, because they're going around marketing, oh, there's going to be rolling blackouts and this and that. Well, when the power grid goes down, your solar doesn't work either unless you have a battery. Yeah. So
correct. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Solar does not work. If there's a power outage and you think your solar is going to take over, it won't. You got to have a battery.
Most solar systems, not all, but most of them feed directly into the grid.
Right.
And then you're supposed to buy back from the grid.
Yeah.
And you pay more for it coming back than it is selling it.
Right. And the only way around that is to buy a battery bank. So you got to buy solar and a battery bank. But what they're marketing is just not true. There's no predictions that any of that's going to happen.
Battery banks are cheap. You're only like $10,000 a battery.
Seven is what I priced them out
for a Tesla one.
Yeah.
And they don't look that big. There's one thing hangs on the wall. Apparently they do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot.
Yeah. It can power your whole house for, well, it depends upon how much power you use.
A day or two.
Yeah.
Air conditioner is going to be the big,
mm-hmm.
the big sucking sound would be the air conditioner.
Right.
If it's not air conditioner's not on, it'd probably do it a month.
Yeah.
It's just a refrigerator and lights.
Yeah. So back to this thing where, rolling blackouts, that's all garbage,
It is, but it's prevailing in the rhetoric out there. It's on Facebook. It's on.
And that's because this China behind it. And then you have people that don't know what they're talking about. Remember at the beginning of the show, I said more than 50% of the stuff on Facebook is not true.
Yeah.
And so you have these people that are like running for mayor that are making stuff up to say, oh, I can get the advantage if I tell people that we don't want data centers because somebody said they don't want data centers. So maybe I'll get a couple more votes if I oppose data centers.
Yeah.
And then the one other thing we haven't hit on is they said, well, data centers are going to cause climate change.
Oh, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
Because climate change doesn't even exist, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know. And if you believe in climate change, but so what they're talking about was probably 10, 15 years ago, air conditioning systems and the way they worked and all that kind of stuff. Now they have something called adiabatic air conditioning systems that they use on these data centers. And adiabatic is they don't put out any more heat or take in any more heat. So they have a technology that does that. And it's called adiabatic. You can look and Google it.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. So they don't create climate change. And one of the things it's like, oh, they put off this heat and it's going to be 90, 95 degrees heat given off. And it's like, okay, well, in Arizona in the summer, that would actually be cooling.
Yes, it would be.
It'd be cooling us off. But,
I would welcome 95 degrees in the summer.
Yeah, no, but look up this adiabatic cooling systems that they use.
Something that's just routine in putting in businesses, and you worked with a lot of it, whether it's a mall or anything. When you're talking about a business that goes in that's going to require an infrastructure upgrade, whether that's roads, power, or even an APS power station or anything, the people that are doing it are these big users. They have to pay for that, and that's just a normal operation.
It is.
And I read a lot on some of these townships and some of these power companies. I think it was in Arizona. Some of these power companies that have had requests from data centers, and they turn them down. They said, we can't build. We can't do it. And these guys, and I don't know what the cutoff is on how much power you have to do to be in that class, but it's more than just a refrigerator and lights. They have to arrange that with the power companies, and then they've got to pay for the upgrades in order to do it. In fact, so it doesn't cost the users for that,
right?
Because it's upgrade. Just like when the mall was put in while you were on the council.
No,
it was right before.
I was in the IT shop when they started that. Yeah,
but the mall had a lot of upgrades, roads, and all kinds of stuff that had to be done. Now the city made a deal with them to defer taxes. Doesn't mean they're not paying for it. It just means that they don't have to pay for it up front.
They paid for it over several years. Yeah.
And people misunderstood that. They thought we were giving them money.
Yeah.
No.
And
that's, we gave them a no interest loan.
Basically. Yeah. And that's, people understand that every home that's built in Yuma, every business that's put in Yuma, they pay what they're called impact fees.
Right.
For whatever roads and
infrastructure and all that stuff.
And then they also pay capacity fees for the water and the sewer that they use as part of a plant or part of a new plant.
So if you're going to put in a data center, it's going to draw a tremendous amount of energy, and they do.
Yep.
That's all made ahead of time. All that is negotiated ahead of time.
Right.
And if there's an upgrade that's required, and probably would be, then they have to pay for that. I was in visiting, I think it was Hyundai the other day, and they have electric cars now. In fact, they're doing really well with the electric cars. And they had to put in one of these high-speed chargers, which take a lot more power to do the high-speed charger. Well, they didn't have enough power at the building. And so they call APS and say, we need power, but that required new lines. The lines had to be paid for by Hyundai.
Yeah.
APS didn't say, well, we'll put them in for you. No, you pay for that infrastructure to put that in. So that was quite a bit of money for them, which is fine. They needed it, and they paid for it. And they still pay for the electricity. Yeah. That's just part of an ongoing deal. And it's so misunderstood, and people talking about these data centers like it's going to make everybody pay more.
Yeah.
To the point where Trump had to address it because of all the misinformation.
Yes. And let me read this out of the thing here that talks about this. It says, China's actively promoting anti-data center narratives in U.S. discourse. Chinese state media, China Daily, Global Times, CGNT, and allies like RT, which is Russian, and Iranian outlets have ramped up coverage, echoing U.S. talking points. Data centers are energy hungry, drive up prices, strain grids, and are environmentally harmful. These pieces mirror the arguments of U.S. state hearings. And this is coming out of Beijing.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that. So
and you know why that Beijing cares?
Yes.
Because they want to lead the pack on AI development.
Right. And they're trying to slow us down and stall us.
Right.
so they can get ahead of us in AI. And so if you are repeating these comments, you are basically working for the Communist Chinese Party.
People don't know it. We need to keep telling them.
And that's why it's important that radio shows, I guess we're not radio, but shows like this
Don't insult me.
Get out facts. No, well,
we're just temporarily without a signal.
Yeah, there you go. But you get out. But that's why it's important where you listen to facts. And I go back to what's on Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Less than 50% is true. Before you repeat anything online, use ChatGPT. They're probably 75% accurate. Snoops is probably 60% accurate or something like that. But use those platforms before you repeat stuff for the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important that we talk about these things.
I know.
You know, and we have new gas lines that are coming in from Texas, which in the long run are going to help lower our prices for natural gas and gasoline.
It's just it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to take a couple years to get that all done.
Yes.
And they're reusing some of the pipeline that was in California flowing through Yuma. We didn't stop here, but it flew through Yuma.
Right.
They're going to turn those pipes around, which also takes time.
Yes.
It's not a simple flip a switch.
Right. But we need to prepare ourselves, because if California wins the battle and shuts down their refineries,
they haven't done that yet, which shocked me. But Trump pushed that stop, and Newsom's going nuts, saying there's going to be an ecological disaster now or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so California. So when people know, California used to have several other refineries and they shut them down. So now they have to import their gasoline and stuff for California, and which is crazy.
They're importing it from overseas.
Yeah. So they shut down their manufacturing and they import it from overseas. It's a crazy. California has done some really crazy things that really,
because they love the environment more than you.
Yeah, I know. That's why they pay $8 a gallon for gas right now.
I just went to LA and it was only $6.15.
There you go.
Yeah, that's all.
You know how much I pay for gas?
Nothing. Yeah, because you plug in, man.
Yeah,
that's it. We need to work hard on the data centers, and we need to educate people.
Right.
And if you hear rhetoric, question it.
Yeah.
And if you get documentation of something contrary, and educate me on it. But so far, everything I've researched, it's all lies.
Yeah. Well, and the data center, my understanding, will create like 6,000 construction jobs. And
Not in Yuma.
Yeah. Well,
in Yuma for one data center?
The data centers take a lot. It depends on how big it is.
Okay.
Depends upon how big it is. But some of the bigger ones are doing 6,000 jobs.
Man.
And then, the wage, it usually is 80,000 or more for the people that run these. And of course you got maintenance guys and stuff that are paid less than that, but it will create jobs. And it's the same thing. We talk about the spaceport. The spaceport has potential to create a lot of jobs. The city of Yuma is only paying for the license, and that land that the city got was federal land at one point. And so the city's not buying land. They're just trading that land, that 640 acres that they have down there, for other land.
We have nothing to lose on this because it's private business that does all this stuff.
Exactly.
And what we get out of it is business coming to town.
Yeah, exactly. And not only are they just going to launch out of there, but you got to remember that there's got to be a company that assembles the rockets, gets the rockets. You got storage tanks for the fuel. You got transportation, all these things that have to happen around it.
But it's all going to be set up privately, which are looking for these launch spots.
Right.
They want them, and the big boys are crowding them out.
Yeah, and
because these would be smaller rockets, it would not be SpaceX.
These are like to put up satellites, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But and people go, satellite launching in Yuma. It's like, well, yeah, Yuma is located on one of the best trajectories to put up small satellites into
closer to
orbit.
the equator, the better.
Yes, exactly.
And they're small, but it's not going to light a fuse small. It's not an Estes rocket.
No, they will be small rockets that are big enough to put
industrial
into orbit.
Yeah, industrial rockets, which would be cool to watch. I'd go down for that.
Yeah, I would too.
You know, I talked to our mayor about it, and he was excited about it, and that there's so been, because I was curious, like, well, Mexico's got to be pissed about it, right? He says, oh no, we've got companies in Mexico who want to be the first to launch.
Yeah, they're signing an agreement with us to do it. Yes.
And apparently the place they have picked out to put this launch pad is like 3 miles from the border. And I said, well, what about the airspace? Well, the rocket would get to international airspace before it ever reached the Mexican border.
Right.
It goes up pretty fast.
Yes, they do.
So as it flies over Mexico, it's going to be over their airspace. It's not going to be restricted airspace.
Yeah.
But Mexico's happy about it.
They are. They're partnering with Yuma to get this done.
Of course, I hear that from our mayor, who has been negotiating that for some time.
Right.
And involved in that. And it's one of those things, the city's not going to really build it. And like, there's some things that the city does that I say, wow, we spending our tax dollars on the Del Sol hotel, you know, stuff. But this isn't that.
No,
this is going to be all private stuff.
Yeah. And again, you go back to this misinformation that people are putting out. You know, I read some of that stuff and I go, stop it. I go,
I know.
Just stop this garbage. You don't know what you're talking about. You know, at least if you see something before you repeat it, go to like Snoops or ChatGPT or something else, or even just Google it to see if it's true or not.
The guess, you may know this number, but how many data centers currently exist in the United States?
I don't know.
5,427.
Okay.
So this is not an industry that it's experimental. I mean, there's a lot of them already out there, and we can get more information from the existing ones. Like, well, what do you do with all your toxic water? And they may look at you like, where do you hear of toxic water about? Yeah. The heavily concentrated Virginia, Texas, and California. So if California has data centers and they're not trying to close them down,
you know, they're not producing toxic water.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, see, California has 331 to 448 facilities. And Texas has 439 to 466, and Virginia has 598 to 954. But they really don't pin that number down, do they? That's this range.
Yeah.
60% of the U.S. population is within 100 miles of a data center, and that's where they've got to be. And that's why it's important to put one in Yuma. If we're going to support the businesses that are using AI, we need to have a data center that's close by.
Yeah. And I told you, I have AI in my car now.
I know.
I can do, I can hit a button and I can do just anything you can do with AI in the home, I can do in my car.
You know, you told me something about your car. The other thing that I found really interesting is that you were looking at your GPS on distances to
on my phone,
on your phone to a remote location.
Right.
And your car asked you, you want me to go?
You want me to go there? Yeah.
You want me to go there?
About 150 miles. And I was like, oh my God, it's going to go there without me.
Wait for me.
I cancel that, close that page. Yeah.
No telling what would have happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I've used it to go to, short locations and stuff to pick you up and those types of things.
And they've been able to do that like in a parking lot or something. If you're in a parking lot, they'll say, come get me if I'm in front of Macy's.
Yeah, it's raining. Come over and get me.
Yeah, and the car will come get you.
Yes, it does. It does.
And your car was going to go 150 miles to get you.
Yes. Or leave me.
Like, what are you doing in Tucson? I'll be right there.
Yeah.
I want that car.
Yeah. But I did try out the AI. It's Grok. Of course, that's Elon's, but it is Grok. And I just tried it out. It's like, oh, yeah, God, this really works. It's like amazing. So,
but you didn't press the yes button, so you really don't know what your car would have done.
No, I did not press the yes button. Yeah. Send car to Gila Bend is what it was.
Oh, that is Gila Bend?
Yeah, send car to Gila Bend. I was like, no, don't do that.
That would have been a shock. You've been out in the garage looking for your car. Like, where is my car? Yeah, it's it grew a mind of its own. It just took off, buddy.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we're going to talk more about data centers here because we need to, and I'll call APS in. Because there's so much misinformation. We got to keep ahead of it.
Yeah. And I would just encourage people, if you don't know what you're doing, you read something on Facebook, there's less than 50-50 chance of it being true. Yeah. I just don't repeat that stuff because Yuma deserves nice things. We deserve to have jobs where our kids and grandkids don't have to move out of town. They can stay here and get good, high-paying jobs. And we deserve those things too. They just all can't go to Phoenix metro area or Tucson or whatever. We deserve to have those good things too. And when you get bigger industries in here that pay a lot of taxes, that helps our schools. It's going to help our college. It's going to help everything.
Right.
It's going to help our standards of living and everything in Yuma.
AI is coming on strong, and we don't have near enough at those numbers. We don't have near enough data centers.
Right.
And we need them nearby to support businesses that are going to use AI and develop AI if we want high-tech businesses.
Yes.
And there's been some negatives about the data centers. Well, it's only going to employ a couple people because it's just machines. I don't know how many.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can do some quick
Yeah.
quick looking on that to see how many it will employ, but I got to figure it's got to be 20 or 30 or something like that at least.
One of my listeners says that heard that regular data centers, I don't know what regular means, use about 300,000 to 500,000 gallons of water through evaporative cooling.
Yeah, we're talking about that's old
School.
some old technology. Yeah.
Okay.
10 years old or so.
The water's lost, not recycled if you're doing evaporative, correct?
Right. But if you use recycled water, it's still okay.
But that's not the current.
The adiabatic. No.
Okay.
That's the new thing.
Well, that's good. And I've heard if it's a cooling system that's closed, there definitely could be glycols or something in there that it's used to assist, but I don't know that.
But that wouldn't be mixed with the water. I mean,
like an
in a
antifreeze
radiator.
It's
Yeah.
like a radiator. You
Yeah.
put it in there, and we do that in cars every day, and that's recycled too. By the way,
Yeah.
they can do that. In fact, you can buy recycled glycol. They take it back out of the water. I don't sell the recycled glycol, but I know people do.
So here's so a small edge data center, they call it, has 10 to 40 employees. Midsize has 50 to 150 employees. And like an Amazon Web Services has 150 to over 400.
Okay.
So it just depends.
It's not
on how
small
size.
business. So.
Yeah. And they're saying the pay range is entry level is 50 to 75,000. Network tech is 70 to 100. And then their engineers, administrators go from 80 to 130. So it's like everything.
They're well-paid jobs.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are. They're well above the median for Yuma. That's for sure.
But there's so many people that are anti right now. It's just kind of weird.
Well, and I think it goes back to, China, what we're seeing, like even in the Iranian war, Iran's putting out these informations that, the U.S. is winning and Iran is kicking butt. And,
I know.
And
we're parroting that on a lot of our local news stores.
And this is the same thing. I mean, China has massive influencers and throwing all kinds of money to try to stop.
And that reminds me,
US.
we want to address that a little bit because Gilbert called up and was talking about, this is upsetting him because it looks like a Vietnam or endless war.
Oh yeah.
Look, it's been 2 months, and from what I've garnered, and I really, I mean, you can ask Helen. I research this a lot because I'm curious.
Yeah,
it's a strategy and where it's going and all that stuff. I really believe that Trump has won. I mean, and he says he's won. But he's basing that on the disconnect from their economy. The leadership is completely sporadic, and you don't know who's running the thing day to day, and that's why he's not. I mean, who do you go to negotiate with? I mean, you've had leaders within Iran that says Strait of Hormuz is open, and that's a foreign minister or something, and 5 hours later, somebody from the government that represents the guard says that's a lie. He's an idiot, and we're closed. It's closed.
Right.
That kind of stuff, and that's what Trump is negotiating with, which makes it very difficult to negotiate. So,
and I not on this one, but I understand what happened in Vietnam,
right,
and I understand what happened in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That it was more
nation building, political.
Yeah, but it was engineered and run from the White House.
Right.
I mean, at some points, and even in Vietnam, it was like, well, you can strike this target, but you can't strike that target. And they were controlling that. And that's what happened in Afghanistan. We could have finished that thing quick, and the troops were held back. I listened to Joey Jones, who gave up his legs for this. And he said, he goes, we were so sick of it because, we'd fight and then they'd say, oh, no, you can't do that. Just wait. Let's back
off and talk.
Yeah. And I think, I don't believe Trump is that way. He is.
No.
He hammered them. He turned the military loose, which is what other presidents in Vietnam and Afghanistan have not done.
They wouldn't do it.
And I think he's like, okay, well, let's pause a second and see if we can come to a deal. And if we can't, then we're going to finish it.
But I think he sees the pause as being in our best interest and favor, because these guys are fighting each other. The Iranians internally,
right.
And he's looking for an internal breakdown, and it's coming quickly because they're now running out of power, and that's Iranian generals and stuff are putting that out there.
Yeah, and one other thing to think about is he didn't pull any of the assets out. In fact, he put another carrier group in there,
and
he put another Marine Expeditionary Unit, which is a couple thousand Marines, battalion landing team. He put more assets in there with the ideas that if these peace talks don't happen, he's going to finish it.
I've heard from other commentators that what he's got in there right now is about double what he started with.
Yeah,
in numbers.
I don't know if it's double, but it's at least 50%.
Well, but you look, you got the Tripoli, you got the Boxer,
right?
With it, you got the additional carrier group plus additional ground troops and an additional. And within the last, and I've been watching Tosi TV, and they're showing a lot of aircraft movement, which is online. You can see it,
right?
Where our aircraft movement has escalated hugely with tankers and bombers and stuff that are rushing to the theater.
Yeah, and right now. I think you probably heard this, but they're going to start escorting ships through today. And so now, once again, we have a great mission for the A-10 and Apache helicopters that are over there to escort these ships through. And of course, with the Aegis systems on some of our destroyers and cruisers and that type of thing. But so we have those assets, and we're going to start doing that. But
I understand the impatience out there. Like,
oh, I do. Absolutely, I do.
Believe me, it really has literally been 2 months. I applaud Trump's patience, but it makes me nervous. I get up every morning and look real quickly. Well, did they do something now? Did they do something? And I'm ready myself, but I don't know everything he knows.
Yeah. Well, and I've talked about this before, but I'll go back when Ronald Reagan was president in Beirut. He was calling the shots from the White House, and then all the Marines got blown up because he was saying you can't shoot back. And Reagan basically said, I screwed up. I'm not doing that anymore. You got it. Just
run with it.
Yeah, run with it.
And Trump hasn't made that mistake. He's relying.
No. And Trump's a very smart guy, and I think he has studied history, and he is very well informed. And I know he sees some of the mistakes that other presidents have made.
There's no question Hegseth and Kane are running things.
The war?
The war.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Pete was a ground pounder. He was caught in that quagmire. The quagmire. I don't know.
Which people are calling this a quagmire.
In Afghanistan. This is not a quagmire. This was a kick-ass.
Did you see Pete address that? He's just incredulous on it.
Yeah, well, he was one of those guys like Joey Jones.
Like, you don't know what a quagmire is.
Yeah.
This is not that. In fact, right now it's just basically on standby. They're not fighting right now.
And when they paused for some peace talks, which I would just assume they had destroyed them, but I understand and I agree that maybe you can get them out there, but it's just. Why he did that, he brought in these additional forces, and he had said, okay, we got 2 weeks to finish everything off. But now that he's brought in all these 50% or 100% of the forces, he might be able to finish it in a week. I don't know, but
I don't know. I don't know how many targets are left. I mean, they hit so many.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they've got a new list now.
Well, bring all their backup systems that they have buried or they undug underneath the ground. And they try to bring those out. And I don't know if China or Russia's been able to get them any other systems, but
it would have to be by rail because they've got shipping pretty much blocked.
I heard there was a truck not pipeline, but roads that they were trying to bring stuff in on the back. Yeah.
Of course, we're going to see that.
Food and we're watching those. Those are pretty easy to pick up with satellites and dust trails.
Unless they got a tunnel underground. That'd be a long tunnel.
Not like that. Not like that.
It's not going to be. So who knows where it's going to be, but I think we need to stay patient a while longer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Trump's thinking.
Well, I believe that he is going to start, because I don't know if they found any mines. I know they've been looking for them, but I believe they're going to escort these ships through, and that's going to slowly build. And if Iran takes a shot at any of these ships, that will be the key for him to resume and finish it.
One of my listeners pointed out that it's past the 60-day limit to execute the War Power Act. Well,
I don't.
Obama went 9 months,
right?
And
no president has ever followed the 60-day.
But Trump's a special president, and but there is, and Trump and his administration has mentioned, look, we paused it, we reset the clock.
Yep.
Our initial War Powers Act is over.
Mm-hmm.
We paused it, and we hope we don't have to start up again. But if we do, it resets the clock. And of course, people are arguing now.
Well, they said the war was illegal from the beginning.
Of course they did, and that was just a lie.
Yeah, it was.
They say it was illegal, but now that you use the limit, you use the War Powers Act, which is legal.
Mm-hmm.
You only had 60 days, and that ended on last Thursday. But nobody's ever been held to the feet on that.
No.
And they hate Trump.
Yes,
the Democrats.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, and he says it's reset, and they say it's not.
Well,
but I guess, unfortunately, what would the left do? I mean, say pull everything out and walk away, and I think they would, because it's more important for them to have Trump look bad than to have a safe future
for our country.
Right?
Yeah, it's party and power over country. That's where they are. I mean, and
that's the impression I get. Man.
That's
just nuts, though.
The Harold Ford Juniors and the Fettermans and stuff like that. Where are you? Where are you?
Fetterman support what Trump's doing. And this, he's still a liberal.
He does
doing this.
Yeah.
I don't remember this deal, but there was a fatal stabbing in a Circle K in 24 of October. I don't remember here in Yuma. They just it was a 27-year-old Angel Trotto. He just pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. Originally charged first-degree murder in connection with a 37-year-old Justin Arvizo. Circle K on 24th Street and Avenue B.
Okay.
He faces a sentence of 16 years in prison. Is that what you get for killing somebody with a knife in a Circle K? 16 years, minimum of 10 to a maximum of 25. That's what it goes with that. His insanity claim was thrown out. Apparently, doctors all found him competent, just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be sentenced on the 22nd, but I don't remember this one from October.
I don't remember
of 24. Circle K.
It's almost 2 years ago. So,
yeah. Well, my memory, whatever.
I remember when James took down the armed robber. And
that was a cool one.
Yeah.
That made national news.
Yeah, it did. Dana Perino introduced James, or talked to James.
James was a celebrity. Yeah. I think now he's just a guy working again, but he's a great guy. I really like him.
Yep.
And when I talked about the War Power Act and all that, and my listener said, so much for being a nation of laws. Fair comment.
Yeah.
But
it also has to be constitutional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's questions about that too. And I didn't bring that up on whether that's even constitutional, because the powers given to the president in the Constitution
He's commander in chief.
But the War Powers Act's never been challenged.
So there was a comment the other day about wanting to do away with, what was it? Anyway, do away with, there was this lady that was running, and she said she didn't want it to be underneath the administration. And it was ICE. She wanted to do away with ICE.
Right.
And so they asked her, so if you're going to do away with ICE, so who's going to do the border? And she said, can we pause?
Right.
Can we
I remember
stop?
she couldn't answer it.
Yeah, she couldn't answer it. And then she came up with, we'll have Congress do it. Well, Congress is the legislative branch.
And she's running for Congress.
Yeah, that's the
I saw
legislative
that.
branch. They're not the executors on stuff. And
you talk about, and we talk about it occasionally about, we have 3 legs of government for checks and balances and all that.
Yeah.
But everybody wants more power.
Right.
And what she wants to do is join Congress and give it all the power and take it all away from everyone else.
Yeah.
Which is why we have 3 legs in the first place.
Yes. And the legislative branch, they make the laws. They do not execute the laws.
Right.
That's so
of course, she was a Democrat, so she won't get in trouble for that.
No. It's like going, we're going to put ICE underneath the Supreme Court. It's like, really?
Yeah.
That's like
Just kind of nuts.
Yeah.
They're kind of nuts that they don't understand. Friendship Park.
Yeah.
Apparently they have to redo it. I didn't know it was that old. I remember when they built it.
Friendship Park, it was built in the 60s. Are you talking in San Luis, or are you talking in Yuma?
Oh, that is San Luis. I was thinking it's Yuma. Okay. It's Avenue A and 34th Place. Avenue A and 34th.
So that's way south.
34th Place is south? Yeah, it would be.
Well, yeah.
Because then on 32nd Street is out in that area. I'm going to have to go look where Friendship Park is.
Yeah. That might be Somerton. I don't know. I'd have to.
Avenue A and 34th Place. Okay, I was thinking of the one by, I was thinking of a different one, but that's not it. But it's in Yuma. It's inside Yuma. It's Yuma Parks and Recreation doing
Friendship Park.
It made me think San Luis. You're right. San Luis.
You know what? Okay. Friendship Tower. It must be there.
Right by the water tower.
Yeah.
That's when I was originally thinking.
Yeah.
But that's on Avenue A, about 34th Place. That would be about right.
That's about right. Yeah.
They could right by the convention center.
Yeah.
And that was built by the Caballeros.
Yes.
Way back when. Of course, it gets turned over to the city. The city owns it.
Right. They maintain it. Yeah.
So I remember that one being built. And now they're saying it needs to be redone. They're closing it down. It's a splash zone.
Yeah. Well, that would make sense, because those splash stones the water wears down
the concrete
and the features and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
They say it's reached the end of its useful life. Does that mean I've reached the end of my useful life? Because I remember, do I need to be rebuilt?
Maybe. The Bionic Man.
We'll go. We'll do that. I got batteries.
Yeah, there you go. You got batteries in you.
Yeah.
So
it says the concrete elements are beginning to fail. The surface shows significant wear.
Yeah.
Drainage performances decline. Repairs have been made over time, but not fully resolve the underlying issues. Of course, there's a lot of water fountains going in that stuff too, which needs maintenance.
Yeah.
So it's only going to take 2 months to rebuild, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better than Smucker's Park.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Smucker's Park. What an embarrassment.
It is.
It's going to be vertical spray jets and arching streams, which it had already, but I guess they're going to redo them all.
Put some new ones in. Yeah.
It's closed during construction. That makes sense. And the city does it. Like when the Caballeros built it, it just gets turned over to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And you get it at that point. But it's all going to be redone. Good. I think that place is, every time I've driven by it, it's always got.
Yep.
something.
Every time I'm golfing there, we go past it, and there's always people out there.
Yeah, they seem to enjoy it. This article was not surprised. It says rising gas prices hit Yuma drivers. Yeah. As much as I hate it, the pain that's going on into Iran and what Trump has orchestrated and cutting them off is destroying them.
Yep.
But we feel pain.
Yes.
There's no question. Mm-hmm. And right now in Yuma, the average price is $4.63 per gallon. put a strain on it. And we've got the oil, and I know people have called the past and say, look, since we're energy independent and we actually export energy, why don't we keep selling our oil real cheap internally?
Yeah.
Well, then we wouldn't have business. That would be government.
Yeah, that's right.
That would be Venezuela.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we know that declines and destroys itself over time. And
but I think as soon as this war is over, and maybe you might even see a big difference if some of these ships actually go through without being impeded, because there's like 100 ships in there. There's plenty of oil. It's just not getting to the refineries.
Because of the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
And we can't be held hostage to Iran. And Trump is sure he's broken them. Now they just need to realize they're broken.
Well, yeah, and that's the big difference between like in Iran and the rest of the world.
In Venezuela.
Yeah, and Russia is the same as Iran, and China is the same. They don't care about their people.
No.
Their people can die, and I mean, Putin's killing whatever 10,000-15,000 a month in this Ukrainian war. He just doesn't care.
No,
just draft more and throw bodies at him, and but everybody else does care.
Do you know Doyle
And
McCurley? Bail bondsman.
Yes, I do.
He's in the article.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
he's giving his advice on international. He says he was asking for about the uncertainty of the global stage is contributing to the rising cost. So he says it depends. If everything works out in Iran, it's a great deal. If it doesn't work out, then it's what it is. I agree with him.
Yeah, it's a good analysis.
Good going, Doyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how he got involved in that. I don't go into a bails bondsman to say, "Can you give me some advice on global stage?"
Well, he gave out good advice.
He did. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a few years. He sponsored one of my daughters. I think it was my daughter's softball team. Which is hilarious to have a bails bondsman. It's like the Bad News Bears, isn't it? It's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. So here's one.
What?
My fact checker just sent me.
No.
So Adams is slamming data centers, right?
Right.
And then he uses AI to create all these different
He does.
pictures. He uses data centers to create all those. We can't have data centers, but I need to use data centers to create all these AI pictures.
He is the AI candidate, according to Nicole, and I think that's a great handle because he does a lot of it. And I've seen some of the garbage he's put out. I disagree with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
where it's slanderous and attacking versus helpful and demonstrating.
Well, yeah, and I believe candidates need to run on what their qualifications are. They can't go out there and throw out, "Oh, I'm for this and I'm for that," and they need to throw out what their qualifications are.
I agree with that, but I also want to get to know the candidates. I want to know where do you stand on military, where do you stand, and it may not be a military man.
Yeah,
but they could say, "Look, I understand what military means to our community, and it's and all that, and we support our military," or we need to defund our military. Whatever. But they're not going to know details, but I'd like to know how they think. And we're learning more and more about what Adams thinks.
Yeah.
And I spent 2 hours with him. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah. Is his business here in the U.S. or is it in Mexico?
It's all overseas. It's all in Mexico.
Mexico?
Yeah. And he does boxing. He's got, he said like 42 female boxers under contract.
Oh, I was thinking boxing, like cardboard boxing.
No, he's a fighter. He's had 42 fights himself.
Okay.
But he, or I don't know if they were fights or just demonstrations or whatever, but he's a interesting guy. He runs a textile company. It gave me a pair of socks, so I'm on the take.
So all these are in Mexico. Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he lives, I think he lives here. I assume he has to. He's born in the United States, born in California.
Yeah.
And he's trying to learn. He's trying to catch up. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I do. And when I first talked to him, and he came into my office, and I invited him on the air.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to. He's afraid I may be biased and support Doug. I said, well, I do support Doug, but also support communications and openness on, you're more than welcome to come on and talk about what you see is important and where you think the future should be going and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
He's anti-data center, obviously. He's anti-space center, I think he was one of the ones that's, like Henry Valenzuela is anti-space center. Like we could spend our money on something else. It's not our money, buddy.
Yeah.
We're
just creating an opportunity for a private company. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we have to spend something for the licensing or the research or something, but that's not taken away from anything.
Yeah.
But this Adams, he won't come on yet. But I'll treat him like I do everybody else. I mean, I'll just ask questions and where he stands and all that stuff. Yeah. I think where he stands is out of touch with what I know about Yuma.
Well, I don't know if he's been here a year. I don't know how long he's lived here.
I don't know. But he sat down with Doug Nichols when he was running, and Doug entertained him. So he is reaching out to talk to people to try to gear up, to try to figure things out.
Right.
I think he spent some time with Wade Noble on water issues. And Wade Noble's a lawyer that does a lot of that stuff.
He's pretty much the water attorney.
Yeah,
Steve Moore is right behind him, I would say.
Yeah, but Steve's retired.
No, he's still working for the city on the water side.
He is?
Yes, part-time.
So, okay, comes in on that.
Yeah, he just help out with water issues.
Yeah. But it was Adams that told me that these data centers, you can't recycle water. And I said, I've never heard of that in my life.
No. That's just...
And unless it's radioactive, it's not true.
Yeah.
And there may be some because he thought it was too caustic afterwards. I think
no, and that's, I mean, we have car washes. I mean, just think how dirty that water is. They recycle their water,
sure,
and so they filter it, clean it, and recycle.
Wash it again.
So it's no, and I Palo Verde, they recycle and they use water off the thing. If Palo Verde can use it, because that water. You've been in the reactor and you looked at the reactor. The water is like crystal clear. Right. I've never seen water that clear. It's like looking through a pane of glass.
And they don't run it into the fusion material or anything. It's around it to cool it.
To cool it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it can become radioactive if there's a
leak,
a breakdown somewhere.
Yeah. But what I didn't know is that water is like one of the best shields for radioactivity.
Never heard that. Didn't know.
Yeah, and that's why they use water around the core. In fact, when we went inside the reactor, we had the badges and all that stuff. We got more radiation outside in the sun than we did inside the reactor.
I was in for an hour or so, maybe more, and the badge really didn't register anything less than an X-ray.
No. But if you go outside, it will pick up residual radiation. Yeah, but when you're inside the reactor, because the shielding outside plus the water shielding the core, there's less radiation inside there than there is outside in the.
I would have received more radiation on an airplane in that hour than 1 hour inside the reactor.
Right.
Now, if something breaks, I guess that's why you wear the badge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Something got free.
You wear the white suits and the booties and all that stuff, but and a badge. But
yeah, I like the booties. They didn't let me keep them though. I had to dress up. I was so shocked though to see they were changing rods, and and rods were exposed. I mean, they were in the water, but they were exposed. And, in the cartoons, if you even saw a rod, you turned to dust.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't turn to dust.
Yeah, I know. It was a very surreal looking, and they're right there, right below you.
It's huge. Now, I haven't spent time on ships like you have, but walking through there reminded me up and down these little staircases and all that. It was kind of like being on a ship, which I've only visited in museums.
I thought you did one of those cruises.
I've done cruises. I mean,
on didn't you do one of those military cruises?
Yeah, on an Argus destroyer.
Yeah.
So I've walked up and down a few.
Okay, there you go.
I just didn't live on it like you did. I didn't do that.
Yeah, months.
Yeah, now mine was a day.
Yeah,
it was a day cruise, and I spent a lot of time in the captain's quarters. It wasn't what you did.
We were on ship so long that they opened up. They call it Steel Beach when we went through the Suez. Canal, Steel Beach. You can bring your lawn chairs out there on the flight deck.
Oh, you've been
I
on
was
the flight deck?
LHA, the Tarawa. It's like the Boxer
Yeah.
and the Triple E. Yeah.
Use your sunscreen.
Yeah. And served us beer.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody got 2 beers.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was big time.
Yeah. After 2 months on a ship,
Yeah.
I guess that
Alcohol on a ship's a big deal.
just close your eyes and imagine you're somewhere else, right?
Yeah, exactly. And going through the Suez, watching the pyramids and stuff like that, it was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
It would be. No.
Yeah.
I went out on it's called Leaders to Sea program,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
media and politicians, they try to introduce them to what the Navy
Yeah.
really does and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
Program.
If anybody ever has a chance to do that, you need to do it.
Yeah. It really opened my eyes to, and we spent 2 hours with a 3-star admiral
Mm-hmm.
that was in charge of everything that floated on this coast.
Okay.
Okay. And he just explained the mission and it's and how, they want to help, a certain age group and make sure they get an education, they get an understanding. And and they're going to rotate out. A lot of them are going to rotate out, but they want them to rotate out as good citizens.
Yeah.
And be productive for our communities and productive for our country.
Yeah.
Is a very, very enlightening.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting on the bridge of the Argus destroyer when we were at dock, and then they pulled out, and you see all these 19-year-olds on 50 cal machine guns, and man, I was the average age on the bridge was 20. It wasn't. If you take out the captain and some of the COs and stuff,
you don't want old
exos,
old seamen and sailors and stuff like that. You want young bucks that
But
are
there was
invincible.
There was discipline, man.
Yes. Oh yeah.
It was kind of great, because you figure just 2 years ago these kids were in high school.
Yeah. Well, you went to the Crucible too in Pendleton.
I did.
Yeah. Or at whatever.
And-
yeah.
And there was no spectators there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got in because I was media, and watched them run that final hill.
Yeah.
On that morning.
And for the listeners, the Crucible is the final graduation event on boot camp.
Yeah.
And they basically, you don't get to sleep. You don't get to eat much. You're up for several days. You march, hump miles and go through different combat scenarios. And in the end, you are totally spent. And it's really a test of all your training and that kind of stuff. And at the end, it's a crucible because they do that. And at the end, they pin the Eagle Globe and Anchor on and make you a Marine.
Well, I got there, I don't know, 4 a.m. or something. It was real early. The generals were there already, waiting for that. And all these Marines, would-be Marines, I guess they are Marines, were lined up in, standing, waiting for the sun to come up with backpacks on in front of this horrendous hill that they had to scream up this hill as a final.
It's Mount MF is what it's called.
Good.
Yeah.
And
I won't say what the name is, but
and then they just fell in, to ranks and everything. And man, I saw a lot of tears and stuff at that when it was over, when that medal was given out. But it wasn't for family and friends. I mean, it was all Marines, and a few of us, from the media that they let in there and see what was going on, which was really amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, I was already in a sling by then. I'd already destroyed my right arm.
I remember that.
I was playing Marine for a week.
Not for the elderly or the faint at heart at all.
Well, they didn't think I was going to participate. And, they said, everybody's going to participate over here and everybody's not over here. And they questioned me on whether I was in the wrong area. Cause I was like, it was 10 years ago. I was like 58 at the time.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm here. The reason I broke my arm is because I was doing so well. They gave me a hard task and somebody fell on me. It wasn't me that fell. Someone fell on me. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning. Am I live on the air?
Well, yeah, on social media anyway, Gil.
Yeah.
How are you, buddy?
Haven't talked to you in a long time. How are you guys doing?
I've been hiding. Yeah, I'm glad you found me.
I really wasn't looking for you, but anyways, but there you are.
Yeah.
So, I heard you here talking about the Carlos Adams and I guess what is it, that data center and water and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm interested in what water can do. Water's a good barrier for lots of stuff. I know in my RV when I go flush my toilet. Well, you had an RV, right, Russ?
Yes.
When you flush your toilet, there's a little bit of water that stays right there in the bottom, and that acts as a barrier, if you will, from the smell of what the black tank coming into your RV.
Without question. You don't want that seal to leak.
And I sure as hell wouldn't drink water out of that toilet bowl either. So I don't know, I mean, radiation is something that we need to find out, but I don't know that I would go, just like a car wash, I don't know that I would go and, or even the 3 Mile or the Palo Verde, I would dip my cup in there and drink that water. But it's an interest.
It's legal now. At one time, because of the yuck factor, treated water from a West plant could not go into the drinking water.
Tucson uses that all the time. Yeah.
Space guys use it. Go to the moon, you're going to be drinking recycled water.
Yep.
But I think the whole issue of all of that stuff is probably the fact that there's no transparency from our city council or our mayor.
In reference to what?
Well, I mean, I just saw a video and maybe it's wrong. I'm not, and I hope I'm.
Well, if it's on the internet, it has to be true.
How does it? Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of stuff that happens at city council that can say in a work session, and then the next day when they have the open meeting, it's entirely the other way around, 180-degree turnaround.
Okay.
So I don't know how a mayor can have a client get special privileges by saying we want to change this, but the client doesn't want to go through there, and then the whole council agrees with the mayor and they pass it. I mean, wouldn't that be nice for any?
I don't know what reference.
I know you know. I know you know what I'm talking about. The one that's probably wants to build a data center.
Well,
I think there's a Greg. You were involved in politics, running the business there.
Yeah.
There's a protocol to how you do a variance or what have you not. And truthfully, I think what can be done for one person should be allowed for everybody else. What gives anybody a special treatment? There should be no special treatment. There's a process that you do to go through it.
I agree 100%.
You got us both agreed.
And that process wasn't taken the way it would be granted to any other individual trying to build a business.
Are you talking
to anything?
Yeah. So there is no data center right now.
There's not even a contract for one.
Yeah. So there is none. It was a couple of private businesses that owned land that were trying to get a data center to come here. And so there haven't been any hearings or waivers or anything that has to go in front of P&Z or anything else like that.
No.
So nothing has happened yet.
GEYDC apparently has been talking to people, but that's a private business talking to private business.
Yeah. So a lot of what you're seeing online is speculation, and to be honest with you, some people are making some stuff up. But there is no data center. They are looking to try to get a data center here.
Yeah, they're trying to recruit one.
But there isn't anything going on right now.
So and the biggest issue that everybody is having with the data center is that the fact of the amount of water that it uses, whether it's recycled or not. That's like the myth, if you will. It's going to take up all of our water and what have you not.
And that is a myth. That is not true.
Okay.
But
it's still going to assume it's still going to take some water. It's not going to waste it. In other words, they're not going to use it and go water the dirt with it or whatever. It's going to get put back in whatever they use, because they're going to recycle it to be used to get in there. I've always wondered, and I guess maybe you can actually shed some light, because we talk about car washes in Yuma. We know they recycle their water.
Yep. Right.
How does that work? I mean, there's a brand new car wash over here on Avenue B and 20th Street. Okay. So the water that's being used to wash those cars, that water comes from the hydrant or wherever, or it gets
from the city
to the locale, from the city. So it's used, the cars are washed, it goes through the gutter of their thing or whatever. Where does it get recycled at?
They have filters, and some have reverse osmosis. So they have filters and reverse osmosis on site, and it actually is recycled on site by the car wash.
Okay. So they have a cistern or something wherever that water that's draining goes into some sort of a holding tank, and then it's pumped through the osmosis or whatever,
Right.
and then it's reused again. And as the water, I guess, evaporates or gets used or whatever gets whatever, then they just add more. They just like turn the spigot on and add more water to the system, turn the spigot off, and then that system is just continuously recycling on site.
Yes, and I don't know the exact details of how they do it, but that's the company actually does it on site, because the reason they do that is obviously they push through a lot of water, and they would have to
Correct.
pay for all the water they get from the city, plus they have to pay for all of it that they put into the sewer system, because the Desert Dunes of Figueroa has to process it. So they want to reuse it on site as much as they can. And you're right, some is lost, and obviously they have to clean their filters, and that goes into the sewer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they actually, the company actually recycles it on site to reuse the water several times.
Just Greg, you said that a data center average is going to be about
550,000 gallons a year. Yeah.
550,000 gallons. To grow 1 acre of lettuce is 1 million gallons.
Oh, I guess I don't know. I don't grow lettuce.
You just let you know. And if you see a plot of lettuce here, it's 20 acres in a plot.
No.
So the amount of water it's going to use, I mean, like, I don't. It's not the big consumption of water like they're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, Gilbert,
I'm just trying to understand the recycle. I'm trying to understand the recycling process, like we talk about, because car washers have been recycling their water for a long time, not just since yesterday.
Yes.
And I know that process. I just didn't. It's interesting because you kind of watched where the construction of the new one was at, and I was like looking to see, okay, so where is their deal where they're recycling their water on site? So they're taking their water. It's kind of like just washing your dishes in your sink, and you pull the plug and it goes into another tub, if you will, and then it gets cleaned through the RO, and then it gets put back into a clean tank, and that water comes back. And it's just being recycled constantly. Like you said, they go clean filters and do whatever it is they do. And obviously you're going to lose water in the process. So you just add more water. It's like cooking, boiling, or making a pot of stew or something. And you add water, or boiling beans, you add water because the steam comes out, and what have you not. So, that's how that process is working. They're recycling their own water. And then I guess in the case of a data center, it's not so much that they're recycling their water, is that they're taking their hot water and cooling it down so they have cool water to go back on again. Kind of like a radiator system, if you would, on a car.
Yeah. And what we were talking about, if they did it out by Desert Dunes, they could take the water that Desert Dunes has cleaned, instead of just letting it go into the ground, they could take that water and use that water as, to recycle.
Desert Dunes.
That's a wastewater treatment plant off of 6E and County 14.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. You can look, they're expanding it right now. So they got a big crane out there right now. So you can see it as you drive down 32nd Street to the south there, just on the east side of 6E. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. And Desert Dunes is a city-owned water treatment, or no?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's a membrane plant. So it's like reverse osmosis membranes. That's how it cleans the water. Yeah.
But actually, really, they don't even need to worry about it that much because the water is not contaminated, right?
Well, for the data center, no, the water is not contaminated at the data center. So the data center can also recycle the water that they use. So, but
and really, the water that they're using is just to cool everything that's there, right?
Right.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Okay. So they just want to run it through a cooler and cool it down, and then kind of like an ice plant or something, or just like we talked about, an automobile. You got a radiator. It cools your water down for you.
Yeah.
And then puts it, just it's continuously going around. And of course, they got to add water to it because in that process, it's not maybe not. It should be a closed system so that really, once you fill it with water, you shouldn't have to fill it again, right?
Well, yeah. I don't know what.
On my car, I fill up my radiator and I put the cap on there and I drive down the road and I don't have to add water every 40 miles or anything like that because nothing's evaporating.
Right. Right.
So it should be a closed system. So once they fill it, theoretically speaking, they wouldn't have to add more water to it.
I don't know that level of detail, but yeah, I would think that once they get it going, if they recycle, that it would not need a whole lot of extra water.
It would just need
beyond that.
the initial fill. No difference in somebody filling their swimming pool for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we're
then
going to
you
keep
just add
looking
water
at it.
on
We're
that.
going to. I need to talk to somebody. To
I think the whole crux of the whole thing in this political arena, what's going on, is the fact that why do we have to be so hide it? You know, why does everything have to be?
What's hidden? I don't know what's hidden.
Well, I mean, this just came up, and all of a sudden, it wasn't brought to the city's attention, and maybe it doesn't have to be because it's a private industry coming in or private people that are coming in, but it just leads to suspicion that, okay, something's being pulled over our eyes. And if you have complete, transparency, then there's not like, okay, this is in the talks, this is, and I think when it comes out all of a sudden, like a shoe drops or whatever,
yes,
that's where it's at. I mean, I'm not here to, just like it's no new thing that Cark has been brought into our town. Hell, they've been doing that for the last 18 years, bringing in raw sewage and spreading it out. They were doing it on the other side of Telegraph Pass at the Copper State deal when they made the big lined swimming pool, and they were bringing all that crap in.
Yeah, and one of the things, Gil. So when we recruit businesses or businesses are coming to Yuma with UIDC or the city's doing it directly, like with the eggplant or some of those other things that I got involved in doing. A lot of times, the company wants you to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, so that nobody knows they're coming, because they don't want their competition to find out that they're going to relocate here and somebody could beat them to the punch. And I have seen that happen where somebody beat them to the punch when they didn't have an NDA or it leaked out. So I actually seen that happen in places. So there may be, and I know GYDC over there, Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation, has to sign NDAs a lot with these companies when they recruit them. So, and I don't think that's not that uncommon. But
I think a lot of it too is because they're looking for their tax breaks. They're looking for everything. I mean,
sure,
this is nothing new. Look at all the money that was spent when Home Depot came in.
Yeah, it's.
I know, probably before Russ's time. Was Home Depot here when you were here?
No, I was here when they.
I know. That's right. Okay, so you can remember all the dirt that the city brought in and to fill that up, to raise it up.
Sure.
I mean, if you own the property and you're going to buy the property and you want it up there, why should the city have to fill up raise the dirt level and everything to bring in business? There's a lot of things that we give away, and sometimes the comeback. We know that when this treatment center or this data center, if it comes to Yuma, when it leaves and it's beginning to operate, it's not going to incorporate lots and lots of jobs. It's not.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be the incentive. Well, look at all the work. We're only going to create a very minimal amount of jobs. I mean, the construction part is great, but hell, half the time the construction people from other cities that come in and do the work.
Yeah.
We don't hire a lot of local.
Yeah, a small data center has from 20 to 40 jobs, and then it goes up from there depending upon the size of the data center. So
sure,
it can go all the way up to 400 if it's massive, but I don't think we're looking at a massive data center here. So it's probably a small one, maybe a medium one.
Yeah, well, but maybe they should take it all the way and put it where they can do the spaceport, because at one time they were going to build a cooling tower. Do you remember that cooling tower?
Down in San Luis was going to do that. Yeah, it was actually to generate electricity, and I looked at it.
And they were going to.
Yeah, I looked at it.
They were going to pump the water from El Golfo. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I was looking at that from a scientific view, and it's like, okay, this doesn't make sense, because you got to pump the water uphill a couple hundred feet, which takes a lot of power. And are you going to generate enough power to even power the pumps?
In theory, they said yes. We'll see. I don't think they've never built
it's ever going to go. No, but yeah.
Oh, I thought they were just going to build a big ladder and have people up there with a bucket of water and just kind of carry it up and let it come down. I mean, that's sometimes the way things are. But yeah, I just you look, and don't know all about it, but I just think that sometimes the hiding part. I mean, we are a community, and you know what? I mean, Greater Yuma Economic Development, probably has brought some big projects to our town. I'm
Of
not
course.
trying to knock nobody in the dirt, but I still believe that some in this day and age, a little bit of a transparency goes quite a long way, and where it's at. But
and I do, Gil, I do think that if there is actually a data center coming, when or if they get one, I think that information will come out along with, and it has to, because the agreement that they do with a data center has to be discussed in the public forum. And so everybody will get the information when and if a data center does come to Yuma.
And then just one more thing, the thing about the flies that everybody talks about and all this, raw cocker coming in, and a lot of the stuff goes to state leased land, and of course we can't control it. Well, our county could very easily pass an ordinance that no outside sludge or sludge comes into our county from anywhere out of state. Yeah. And then that, state land it's not sacred land where you can just do whatever the hell you want. It's just land that happens to belong, that our state senators and representatives are the trustees of that land to rent it out.
Yeah. And I got to get an update on that, because it was coming up for renewal, because it was a month to month, I think. And I need to get an update on that, where that's at, because I kind of held back on stuff, waiting to see what, I'm not sure if it was ADEQ or who it was that approves that, but it was on a month to month. I need to get an update on where that's at, because the flies are horrendous at my place.
They really are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what office has the highest power in our county, right?
Yes.
In our city, county.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who does?
The Board of Supervisors.
Nah.
No,
the health department.
Judge, the health department. No,
the health department. You got a neighbor that's got a very tall palm tree, and it's a nuisance. All you got to do is say the cockroaches are coming off there. Call the health department, and that tree will be down.
Man.
So the health department supersedes all that. The health department can walk in and shut a restaurant down right now.
That's
they
true.
Don't need a board of supervisors. They don't need nothing. So it's what's good for the health of the county, and the city is in the county.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if people really want to put a little bit of pressure on your thing, but then again, if you do that, then all of a sudden you may have another, what are they auditing the county treasurer now, because his office, it's a power play, I guess you want to call it.
There's some questions. It's unfortunate. I hate to see that stuff, but something's going on.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with money. It's not like somebody's putting $1 in their pocket. It's a power struggle. It's a power play. Well, you're going to run it the way we want. No, I'm going to run it the way the voters asked me and elected me to vote it.
Well, the treasurer's not
so
elected.
Health.
Yes, they are.
The county treasurer? I guess so.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Is. Yeah, David Alexander.
It's an elected.
Yeah, you have to be. So
it's an elected position.
So he works for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. But the health department, call them. They're the ones that can help streamline things across the board. Yeah. So if the board of supervisors, when they got up and gave this statement about this and that with the flies, really truly they have a department with it that they oversee, that they could have said, hey, can you guys go take a look? Be done with it. Real simple.
Never think that's simple in reality, but yeah.
But it gets the ball rolling. It gets the ball rolling in the right direction, and puts pressure where it needs to be done. And we don't have to be held hostage by our state officials. It's no new thing when I've been saying this on your show, Russ, for many years. All these people pumping the groundwater out, that we lease this stuff to the Arabs and all that, and they grow their stuff and ship it out of here, pumping up our groundwater, even to the point where they were pumping the groundwater, filling up tankers and sending it over to California to the farmers and selling water to them to feed their livestock when they were going through that water shortage. And that's wrong. It's taking our water to do it. And they only pay, $25 a year for an acre? And they get all the water?
Yeah, it's not a lot. Yeah.
No, it's not. And now, anyways, another story.
Thank you, buddy.
Gentlemen, have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yeah. Are we having problems with the treasurer or just the accounting office in Yuma?
Well, it was the state treasurer. I don't know really what's going on, but state treasurer's hired attorneys, and the board of supervisors hired an outside attorney. And
I don't know the whole details on it.
I don't know.
but I knew there was some trouble. But I thought it was with the county, the employee, the county in charge of books and stuff. And I don't know. I haven't dove into it.
I'm not sure,
but I don't think
I
it's
thought
Yuma
it was a
County. I don't think
result.
it's Yuma County Treasurer, but I don't know.
It is Yuma County Treasurer.
That's having the financial problems or the
Well,
legal problems.
I think there's a disagreement between the Board of Supervisors and the Yuma County Treasurer.
Not just the accounting office. Okay.
No. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
'Cause I haven't. I mean, I read there was some mixed dust up, but I didn't look at the
Well,
details.
they've both lawyered up, and I'm not sure.
That's
I
not
don't know
pretty.
any of the details.
That's not
Yeah.
pretty. I looked up how much water on Grok that a county center uses.
A data center?
A data center. A data center. And it says a lot more than you did.
Really?
Yeah, 1 to 5 million gallons per day for these hyper ones, the big ones.
Oh, yeah.
And the little ones are 300,000 to 500,000 per day. You were saying per year.
I was thinking it was per year.
But now that's for evaporated cooling.
Right. And they don't
do that on the newer ones, but it
Yeah.
doesn't say that. So obviously we need to do a lot more.
Yeah.
But even if they use on a small one, they say a small one would use the same as about 10,000 residents would for household residents.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Average is about 500,000 gallons a day, not a year. It's still a small fraction of the water used and all that, but it's a lot of water. So I need to look at more.
Yeah.
Find out what's going on with them. But that says evaporating cooling. Now that's not recycled. You can't recycle evaporating cooling. So we definitely have to look into that more. Because I don't, if they're recycling it, it can't be evaporating cooling.
No.
Because that just is gone. And that, just like it says, it evaporates. It's cloud seeding. Now, did you know there was unreasonable heat this weekend in Yuma?
Well, we were outside.
That's the headline,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad. Well, this says Phoenix, but the same temperatures. In the 90s, we were in the 90s. I didn't realize it was that much hotter than what it should be. They said it was unseasonably warm. Now it's going to be, today's only going to be a high 79.
Wow.
And it's going to get back to be 100 by Friday. But I was listening to some weather reports. It says there's an El Nino coming in 2026. Now, El Nino is associated with a lot of moisture, but that moisture won't hit till fall. But if we get this El Nino, we're going to be hotter than normal between, and they say it could hit here about June to August. There's a 62% chance of it. And there's a 25% chance of a super El Nino, which is a weather pattern that's going to create a ton of heat to begin with, but then a ton of moisture over the winter months, which I think is what we need. We need a super one.
Yeah.
Don't know. We've had some in the past. So buy windshield wiper blades.
You sell windshield wiper blades?
We do.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Let me, yeah, we'll put them on for you too. So let me take another phone call. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hi, Russ. How are you?
Doing well.
Well, okay. Sir, I happen to work for a company that services the Palo Verde power plant,
Okay.
and we happen to do water. And it's not a closed system that works there. It goes through a filtering system and into their nuclear plant, and then out into a waste tank where it's retreated and put back into the system. It's not a closed system, though.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
It runs through, but it's not closed, like it's not piped. It's open water.
the holding tanks are open water, so
Okay,
that it does evaporate. And and I have a friend that lives in Texas who is now currently they're planning on bringing superconductor facilities to their area, and the water, because of the severe amount of water they use, it raises their water prices, and also the electric that they use put a serious strain on the grid.
And you're talking about a nuclear power plant in Texas or a data center?
No, a data center.
A data center. Okay.
In Texas, and they've already started. They already have one up, and they're getting ready to build another. And the residents of that town are upset because of the rising utility prices.
And what town in Texas is that?
That is not Amarillo.
Amarillo?
It's down south. I forget the name of the town, but they're pretty upset. He lives in a little podunk town, so
it's like Brownsville or something like that.
Yeah, down by Brownsville.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Rodney,
And,
that's interesting. But so Palo Verde does recycle. They just do open recycling of the water.
Yeah, you still get some evaporation,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and we do some of the same stuff here in Yuma, and we clean up the water before it's even sent into the sewer system and stuff like that. And special hello to Greg, long time no hear or see, and I just wanted to weigh in on that. It is still evaporative. I mean, you're still going to lose water, but it's minimal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's good information, because so that's what you're doing now. You're working on the water side at Palo Verde and other places?
Yeah. Oh, and other places too.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, good to hear from you.
All right, sir.
Thanks for the call, man.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rodney.
Take care, bro. Bye.
Yeah. So
bye-bye.
I do need to stay corrected. So the adiabatic, and this is brand new, and I've just been doing the research. It says it uses 10 to 50 times less water than the conventional evaporative cooling systems. But I think you are right. It's like, so a 40 megawatt data center uses 1.8 million gallons a year.
Okay. Which isn't far off what you said. You were talking like 1.3.
Yeah.
Which is still not that significant. But those are with data centers that are recycling. Apparently some of the early ones didn't.
Well, the early ones, I don't think they did, because like in the Midwest, there's no water problems. It's like, why do you pay to recycle when you have, when the Mississippi's flooding and all that kind of stuff, and they don't have water issues.
And this article I'm reading, I just pulled up, the centers are using recycled water and closed loop systems in a lot of the data centers.
Yeah.
Some facilities are recovering 50 to 80% of water, and advanced systems are recycling up to 95% of the water.
Yeah.
Now,
so, and a 40 megawatt is basically a large enterprise data center. So that it's a big one. Anyway.
Well, some of these earlier data centers were using 1 million gallons a day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And so, and one of the things that I saw was they did studies like 5 years ago, and it was looking at the technology 5 years in the past. So it's about 10-year-old technology, but they do use water. And so that's why I think if you take water off of desert dunes, it's not affecting our water at all. In fact, it's reusing water that we're already expending.
That you would otherwise pump into the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
All good. We need to, of course, we can't ask a data center what they're going to use in Yuma because we haven't got a company that's agreed to build one.
Right. And that's the key. You need to let GYDC do their job.
Yeah.
And work out the agreement, because every company, most companies that come to Yuma do ask for tax credits and all this other kind of stuff. And I'll give the example that when I was there, Costco said, yeah, we have some land here. We want to build Costco. We want to build a Costco here. We want this and we want that. And we want all these things. And it's like,
nope.
nope, can't do that. We have Sam's Club. And they go, yeah, but we went into El Centro and our sales are way below what we said. And we have problems there. And I said, you should have called me, because I would have told you, don't go to El Centro, come to Yuma. But yeah, we would not. I just told them no, flat out no. We're not giving you tax credit. We don't bring in competitive businesses like to Sam's Club or Walmart or whatever it is. Even though Costco is great, Sam's Club is great too. So
Yeah.
you can't incentivize people, and that's going to be key. Is there may be some initial incentives to get them here, but you don't want to give away the farm. And like I said, they could really help out, our schools and all.
But there's
that
always
stuff.
that impression we gave away too much, or we didn't say
Oh, yeah.
enough. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's why and those are all fair.
Mm-hmm.
As residents of the community ask a lot of questions. Please do.
And that needs to happen. And whatever what I said, whatever the agreement, it's going to be at a city council hearing when or if it ever happens. And they'll go through all of that.
But I know Gil asked about transparency. Like he wants transparency before we even talk to the
and you can't
before we sign contract. You can't do it.
Yeah, because every agreement and every data center is going to be different.
Right. And competition, all that, and the NDAs, non-disclosure agreements and all that.
And data centers coming in are very aware of what's going on. They know they need to be frugal.
But I want my AI to run faster, so we need one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Greg, I appreciate it, man. It's already 9:00.
Yeah. Okay.
We're done for the day. I'll be back tomorrow. Mortgage One Studios with Russ Clark.